Mic on, camera on, whoops. Welcome to the stream. Sorry I'm late. I couldn't find my one hitter and then I forgot my cookie. Yesterday I didn't eat my cookie until like halfway through until toward the end of the show, so I figured this time I'd do it early. Thorpe news. Ava fighting with Rich from Healthy Family Force. More. Rich is really going after Ava. What about Ben's debate with Glenn Lawrence is back on. Hey, how's it going, Eddie? And that's all I can think of offhand. Ruby, I saw Ruby posted, someone shared it in the Discord, like a Twitter post she made that looked really scary, but I didn't really know what was going on. But anyway, that's it. Slow news day. The last week's episode of this was taken down by WWE, but I did some, I used the remove thing and it took it out. It should only be the music that plays between episodes, but because they also claim the video, it will probably just skip, you know what I mean? It'll just go from one episode to the next, but they're back up. It should stay up while I'm live, and if it gets taken down again, I'll appeal it again. But this is right where this is episode 3 of 1986, so it's right where we left off last time. And this is January 18th. So last time was January 4th and 11th. Today is January 18th and the 25th. So let's dive in and let's see what who is Dutch Mantel feuding with. Oh, I put him in the thumbnail, didn't I? Yeah, Rick Casey. I'm interested to see that story, how that story goes too. I want Rick Casey out of here. Like, I think this is what's cut out of them, and when they have that, like, blue screen of the body slam, I think that's the only stuff that had to be cut out, but I could be wrong.
Russell and Dave Brown right along the ringside, and a bunch of great folks lined up here for our championship wrestling this week. Looks like another good one, Dave.
Boy, great card coming up. We've got the superstar Bill Dundee be involved in the opening match today. Sure, Billy Travis is here. Dirty Rhodes back in the area. I think most of wrestling fans remember him. Yeah, he's back. Dutch Mantel will...
Dirty Rhodes? I'm not familiar with that storyline.
Be here, Nature Boy, Buddy Landell. But the one I'm waiting for is an 8-man tag team match. It's going to be the Sheepherders, Tony Falk and Pat Rose on one side. On the other side, it is going to be Coco Ware, Rick Casey, and the Fantastics.
Oh, that's pretty good. We haven't seen the Sheepherders here, right? That's the Bushwhackers from the WWE.
Oh, how about that, sports fans? You better believe a big...
Just as an aside, if you don't know, and I don't think I talked about it last time, but the Sheepherders, when they went to WWF and became the Bushwhackers, became like good guy, family friendly, almost like a kid act. But when the Sheepherders were wrestled internationally, they were known as like hardcore wrestlers. They did barbed wire matches, bled everywhere. Like, to see them transition from that to the Bushwhackers is really interesting. Of course, at the time, I didn't know they had wrestled in a bunch of other places, except some of the after mags had talked about it a little bit. But it's pretty wild that they went from like barbed wire matches to the kids act. How's it going, Kyle? And think about this too. How weird would it be today if a pro wrestling thing like the Bushwhacker, like a group like the Bushwhackers came out and were licking children on the head and the face like they did back in the 80s? Like, what were they even thinking with that being like a gimmick? Like, every time they came down to the ring, they licked some kid on the head or the face. It was so bizarre.
8-man tag as our expiration of time. In addition to that, we're going to be having information regarding the contest, a date with the Fantastics. Yeah. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Right now, timeout. We'll be back with the opening bout with Bill Dundee and Jim Jamison in just a moment.
Well, that's really breaking down.
Entertainment.
Okay, we're going to be ready to go here with our opening bout. Bill Superstar Dundee, the South.
Pat Patterson licked a few kids. He licked their feet, didn't he? Isn't that what he was into? Oh, that was Mel Phillips. Oh my gosh, I found a Mel Phillips documentary about the Ring Boy scandal. We have to totally watch that sometime.
Heavyweight champion coming out.
I need to talk to you. Come on over here.
Oh my God.
What? Just
I need to talk to you, Lance Russell.
what, Bill?
And I know it's early in the morning. Some of you ladies are sitting over there looking at a little bowl of grits, and there's a big fat redneck sitting across the table from you, and you said, oh my God, I got to look at him every... But no, you don't. You just look at the TV set, and you're looking at the living legend and the superstar. And I know I'm making your day. And tonight...
Don't look at your fat husband. Look at me.
You're going to go home with your old man, and he's going to get all loving, and you're going to be thinking of the superstar because you saw him first thing this morning. But I'm supposed to climb in this ring right now and wrestle Jim Jamison.
I'm glad you know that. We've got a match coming up, right?
Wrong. Now.
Elvis, it's not even a good Elvis. Like, I'm not knocking Bill Dundee. You really can't. Like, he accomplished so much in the business that you can't really knock him. But, I mean, to me, like, I wouldn't get behind this character as a kid. Like, there's just no way. And I get that he's a heel, but I don't really take him serious. Even though I know he's, like, a really high-level wrestler in this federation and, like, he predominantly wins. Like, it's hard for me to take him seriously because he's such a goon.
That ain't going to take place because when you're the living legend, the superstar, and the Southern...
Which isn't bad, but I just don't see him as, like, a... I can see Jerry Lawler getting tough if he has to, like when he takes the strap down. But it's just hard for me to see this guy as like a serious like fighter. But I guess you can't argue with the success, and the actual matches themselves are pretty good. I guess maybe I just don't buy into the promos.
Heavyweight champion, you get a little pull around here, and I ain't wrestling Jim Jamison. You know why, Lance Russell? Because
no.
it would be boring, boring, boring. But I got something else for you now. All week long since I beat up Big Red Reese, the people that like the whales have been calling me insane. And the people that are cruelty to animal people have been calling up and saying, superstar, why did you beat on that big whale like that? I didn't beat on him too bad, so I got me a little tape, and I'm going to show it to you all. And last week I invited Buddy Landell over to my house and Dirty Dutch Mantell, because your commentary was horrible on that, Lance Russell. You wasn't telling the people how it was. So they come over to my private screening room. Buddy Landell sat there. I sat in the middle. Dirty Dutch Mantell. We re-commentated the match. Now, if you talk to the man upstairs, he'll show it to you, and we'll see what you did last week.
Okay, keep your finger on the audio. You don't know what's going to be. Have we got it? Okay, let's take a look at it.
Sorry, I forgot my drink. I love this Big Red Reese guy. I think he's so cool. He's so unusual.
All right, you folks in Memphis, you would all like to be here, but you can't be here because the superstar of the living legend, the nature boy, and the Dutchman's here. All my friends in my personal viewing room, my little library at my home here. And we're taking this opportunity because I have been getting bombarded with letters from the people that get mad at you if you're cruel to animals. Now, you know, and well, a whale's an animal. You know, I know most people think animals is four-legged people.
Wait, is he saying that he got contacted by animal rights people because he beat up a whale? He's saying that, like, because he beat up Big Red Reese, that like he got contacted by animal rights places.
But they ain't. Whales are animals. They're mammals. They suckle the young. That's what makes you an animal. People are animals. So they've been calling me up and writing me letters about being bad to Big Red. Well, I was, you know, listen, he is a whale of a man, right, Budger? What would you
That's
think?
right, Bill. What's it feel like to have so many titles? You're the Southern Heavyweight Champion, the living legend, and now the Giant Killer, brother.
Oh, I never thought of that, Budger. That's a good line, the Giant Killer. But the main thing that we're here, folks, is because Dutchman, you know, you've read some of the letters. They were mad at us because we were beating up on a whale-type man. You know, if we'd been real bad, what would we done to him? We would have harpooned him, wouldn't we? There's the telephone ringing. It's probably Britt Eklund, or it's probably Farrah Fawcett calling you Nature Boy. It never quits here, folks. I'm telling you, it's terrible to be a...
Yeah, I like the McMahon documentary. I know people were kind of upset that it didn't. They either felt like it was a hit job or that it didn't go far enough. But I thought it did a really good job of just presenting things as like based on fact rather than speculate. And, you know, I mean, of course it was negative to him. I mean, I don't know how any serious documentary couldn't be, but I thought it was pretty well made. I think the issue for a lot of wrestling fans is that they already knew a lot of the stuff, and so they felt like, oh, you know, this is old news or whatever. But not everybody knows about the, like, regular normies on the street, even that were around in the 90s, don't all know about the Montreal Screwjob and why it's important. Cool heel commentary. Dude, the reason we got heel commentary on this match, I guarantee you, is because Big Red Reese can't wrestle. So it's going to be a bunch of like rest holds and slow shit, and they knew nobody would want to watch the match, so they put the heel commentary to keep people interested. McMahon starting a new company. I saw that, like in some kind of entertainment company.
sex symbol, ain't it, Bud?
It's hell, brother. The trouble me, you, and Tom Selleck have with our women, we could write novels about it.
Are there really enough well, though he's got, I keep forgetting that he has like $10 billion now. I was going to say, like, are there really enough like free agent talent or people that he could get to where he could build like an actual, like, you know, an actual competitive company? And then, like, is he really going to enter the market at anything other than having like a completely A+ wrestling company, like stacked with big stars? I think it would feel weird to see Vince McMahon running not running a wrestling company, but it's like not the top one. You're super casual, so I liked it too. I mean, I'm not super casual, but I just liked seeing it. I just liked seeing the stories again because I'm old and I lived a lot of it. You love wrestling, but you don't really care to watch day to day. Yes, that's how I am, for sure. I'll watch like I love Royal Rumble. I usually watch WrestleMania. And like if there's a big match I want to see, but I definitely, aside from listening to like some of the podcasts, I keep up on like, you know, what's going on, but I don't watch it.
Dutchman, what do you think? You were there. You saw this in live and living color. You only came down at the end of this match to
Surprised he doesn't have a non-compete clause. He did for I don't know how long it lasts though. And also, there's already been legislation. I think it got overruled at a federal level, by a federal judge. But there was some kind of thing that basically eliminated all of no non-compete clause, like eliminated non-compete clauses. So maybe that'll be something that gets addressed in the future. He needs to enter the streaming sphere and sign the Thorpes. I think they would get along.
That pulled me off him, didn't you?
Vince McMahon is 100% content-brained. Oh, I can't wait I think Netflix wrestling is actually going to be really interesting. I'm at least going to give it a chance, and I'm going to watch the first episode. And if it's like, but I want something like different than they have now. I know the wrestlers are going to be the same, but I hope it's just like I hope they use this as an opportunity to kind of soft move to the next phase of WWE. Good morning, Samantha.
To pull you off of, you know, you remember that whale in California that kept going up the sound and kept getting lost, and they kept trying to turn him loose and they're trying to shoot him back to the ocean? People wonder what happened to him. Well, you see right there, that big thing in the green, that big blob there, is the whale that finally went to the ocean and then come back as a wrestler. And Bill, you got him in the ring right there. I mean, we're going to show the people the difference between swimming in the ocean and being
Corday had a green suit made for him. He changed his name to Big Red. They saved that whale, folks. Now you're looking at it. Budrow, we'll take a little rest here because strategy's the main thing when you're wrestling a giant, ain't it? You got to have him on your grounds. And we have him here. Big Red's all anxious, wants to...
Yeah, see, Big Red Reese, I think he looks amazing. It's really difficult to use somebody that can't really wrestle, but he looks so impressive that, like, it'll mean something if Bill Dundee can beat him, but there's no match here. So that's why we have the heel commentators, like I said earlier. He's just stalling, trying not to... He can't make it a squash match because he can't beat this big guy immediately, but what a boring match.
But we just going to tire him out a little bit. Big Red, look at that. He looks like a big old leprechaun right there. Some people, no class, they're yelling for the superstar.
So he's even got his colors.
But I should follow that up by saying that fans in Memphis like this. This is what they were about: stories, personality. So like they didn't really give a shit what happened in the ring as long as they got to see the people that they liked and, you know, there were storylines they could be invested in. So while I don't personally like this kind of match, like the Memphis fans would have no problem with it.
Messed up. See, Big Red, but he's got a green outfit on. That don't even make sense at all.
It's like a frog in a blender, don't it?
Well, yeah, he does. Now, here we go. Here's some people telling me, go ahead, Bill, kill him. But I don't want to do that because, like we said, folks, we just wanted to beat him up a little bit. We didn't want to hurt the whale. We would have...
I mean, Bill Dundee is literally commentating on his own match.
Putting him. Oh, good move there. Good technical wrestling move, Budwell. What do you think?
Exactly right.
Good right hook. There's another good one. Oh, well, that was a flat of the foot. All that's legal, folks. That's a good elbow right there. That's a cute little devil in that superstar outfit. Yes, it is. Oh, it's me.
He's sticking his head running right into your fist. I can't understand that.
Here we go. Now, there's a...
Okay, so if you're at all confused about what just happened, he rammed his head into the turnbuckle and he not only no-sold it, but he's like taunting now. In professional wrestling in the old days, even up through like the 80s and maybe 90s, one of the tropes or the conventions of professional wrestling is that if you are black or Samoan, you cannot be hurt with a headbutt. So that's the thing, is like, that's why he's no selling it and like dancing, is because in the people who booked these wrestling matches, they would book them so that like headbutts didn't work on people of color, essentially.
The dancing whale, folks, classic example. He's either Kermit the Frog or a dancing whale. Looks more like Kermit in that outfit. Here we go now. Oh, Miss Piggy be coming down here in a minute. Tell us not to do it. Oh, there's Miss Piggy sitting right there, two of them. Just take another little rest here, Bud. Talk to them girls out there, Bud. Tell them how nice you are.
Well, it's obvious, superstar, that the reason why you're back and the reason why I'm here is because the women around the Memphis area and Nashville, they all
Excuse me for a minute, Bud. I thought you looked a little tired, so I just threw that chair in there, and I'm telling them, have a little rest, Big Red. Sit on it. Excuse me, go ahead.
Well, as I was saying, it's obvious the women are starved for the sight of a real man, and we're talking about the epitome of manhood right here. Watch yourself, everybody. What's it like to see your...
There's so much wild stuff in old wrestling. Like, I remember watching 80s WWF wrestling, and anytime like an Asian wrestler was involved, Gorilla Monsoon would always call him like sneaky or crafty or something like that. And then if someone would like run across the ring and attack the other person before the bell rang, Gorilla Monsoon would always be like, "Oh, he's hitting him with the real Pearl Harbor job."
yourself beating a whale up on TV, huh?
Well, this is the first time I've ever wrestled, Big Red, and the first... Oh, good drop kick, too. Yes, sir. Come here, Dutchman.
Yes, sir.
Come on down here, because you come down here to tell me, look at this now. I think Big Red...
I should have come earlier.
That's when you should have come and
I was afraid the whale was going to die of cardiac arrest there, and I was getting concerned in the back because we really don't want to kill nobody. We just want to beat them up and humiliate them and run them out of town. You know who I'm talking about there.
Oh, yeah, he done good. What was his name, Jerry? What?
Jerry somebody. I can't remember his name.
Was it a wrestler around here, Jerry something? Something like that. Had a silly hat, green...
Like, and to be clear, it wasn't the heel commentator that would say that stuff. It was always like Gorilla Monsoon that would always say that kind of stuff.
A little red thing with stars instead of...
Real margarine, man.
Yeah, oh, yeah, Jerry something. I don't know. He gone anyway. Run him out of town. Well, here we go now. I was just going to hold him down, give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation because I thought he was going to die right
He was just trying to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
then. Referee pulled me off him. Don't know why.
I like it when the heels really go over the top with that. Like, it's obvious what's going on, but they try to sell it like it's, you know, something that's fine. Like, Jesse Ventura was really good about that. Like a bad guy would like grab somebody by their hair and pull them up, and Ventura would be like, "Oh, look at that Monsoon. He's helping the man up. What a display of sportsmanship." Like, that always cracked me up.
Come on, Kermit, get up.
Get up, Kermit.
Well, that's a technical wrestling move.
Who the fuck booked this match? This is so long. This is so long of a match.
Just help him up the sole of my foot.
See how that weight shift when you kick him in the side there, Bill?
looks like a waterbed.
He was a crazy heel too, man. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen any of his matches, but he was like a crazy George the Animal Steel type, like lunatic madman. He looked pretty fucking wild.
Oh, here we go. Kermit going to dance a little bit now. Buddy, this is... Dutchman, come here, because just about the time you start to feel sorry for him, you come down and say, "Bill, don't do it no more." Head good right hook.
I wonder what size bra he wears. It looks like he just had a little puppy.
I know.
I saw that the company that, I think it's maybe Mattel, that makes the wrestling figures, they actually made a figure of Gorilla, like a limited edition, like premium figure of Gorilla Monsoon back when he was a wrestler. So he has like the generic long john, like a long john underwear on, wrestling in it.
Well, now that was an illegal blow. I don't know. The referee should have disqualified him right there. Five minutes. I thought we'd be sitting here a week.
But where's my Big Red Reese action figure?
Just 5 minutes going past. Well, I'm here one thing. Jack Cousteau's got to be real nice to us from now on, because we could have harpooned this jerk anytime we wanted to.
Oh my God, this commentary is actually really, it's actually really good. He's gonna call Jacques Cousteau and ask him to get his praise for harpooning this whale.
Whoops. Oh yeah, I'm telling you.
Did I see Ric Flair cry on Kill Tony? Yeah. I thought that had such a great troll moment in it when he was talking about his son and the guy started playing the sad music. That was just Keno. His manager, Red Bastien, originally found him bathing at the wild rivers of Manchuria.
Man, I'm so quick, brother. Me and Dutch one time, we was laying in a hotel room in Louisiana, and we went to bed and flicked off the switch. And I said that all backwards. You tell him how we did it, Dutchman.
Oh, we were so fast, Bill.
I remember Jesse would always kind of prod him, and if you're a wrestling fan, but you're like younger, you never saw the old stuff. You should check out some '80s stuff just for the commentary. If nothing else, like Jesse Ventura would always like poke and prod Gorilla Monsoon and ask him like, how much did you weigh at your biggest weight, Gorilla? And he'd be like, oh, about 404 pounds, Jesse. He'd be like, where did they weigh you for something like that? Take you down to the stockyards?
Bill said hit the switch. We was in the bed half asleep before the room got dark. Now I'm talking fast now. Look at that.
Now that's fast, bud, right?
If you can be 404 pounds and be like a cool heel wrestler, why aren't Boogie and Wings doing that in like Review Tech USA? Why don't they put a mask on him and put him in the ring?
Now this is it. That's you feel real sorry. You see he can't get up. Look, the man is just run out of whatever. It keeps us athletes going. Steam, I think. Now look at that. Look. See now.
He hit me for no
That's
reason.
right. And a chain fell out of his back pocket, and I just happened to pick it up. Now, I'll give the man credit. He was a little smart here. He blocked that punch, and he knocked me down. I fell over, kind of slipped.
Now, look, he's trying to grab me.
That's right.
Okay, so I know people complain about modern wrestling, but this is so overbooked. If a guy like Cornette or Bischoff or whoever, maybe not Bischoff, because he likes he loved this kind of shit too, but like this ending would be so unsatisfying. You've got it's not even like cool false finishes. It's just like, oh, we've got a chain. Now we got powder. Now there's a manager. It's just one thing after another here.
See? He hit me and he's still trying to.
Just like a whale. Whales are big and dumb. Otherwise, they wouldn't get harpooned so easy when them little guys went in them boats and them harpoons and did it.
If it were me, and I was booking this match, and I needed Bill Dundee to look strong, and I needed this guy to look strong, but Bill Dundee had to kind of come out on top, why not just have the dude on the outside, Dutch Mantel, pull the rope down, the dancing whale spills out of the ring onto the ground, and then he chases Dutch Mantel, and you get a count out. And then that's it. And then Dutch Mantel, or Bill Dundee's in the ring, he's gloating, this guy, he's a coward, he ran away from me. Crowd's hot, and then you got your whatever you're going to do in the next step. That's what I would do.
Now here's the harpoon, brother. There he goes. 400 pounds of blubber there, folks.
Thoughts on Lillian Garcia coming back after Samantha Irvin's exit? Will I miss the booty? I don't watch a lot of it regularly now, but I like Lillian Garcia. I honestly haven't seen that much of Samantha Irvin. I saw her announce a few times, and people were saying, or you know how people are. They're like, oh, this is the best announcer in WWE history, but I didn't really get it. I thought she was fine. But I like Lillian Garcia. Boogie's finishing move would be the tipple twister.
Going to turn him into whale oil.
Like you pull a whale off a beach.
That's right.
Get beached on the beach there.
There it is.
2, 3.
All over. That's right. Well, Jack Cousteau, we didn't hurt him up too bad, and all you whale lovers.
Jack Cousteau.
There it is. Budro, say goodbye to the nice folk. Bye.
Whew, thank God that's over.
Well, could I tell you, Lancer, that wasn't quite as boring as being a Jameson, but I just want to tell you all something. Want to tell all you people out there something. Buddy Landell.
Mean Gene's definitely my favorite interviewer. Howard Finkel's my favorite ring announcer. My favorite commentators are... I'm cool with either Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura, or Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, or Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. I think I'd be cool with. I loved Howard Finkel. Plus, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but he had one of the largest personal collections of pornography on Earth. No one's better than Finkel. Yeah, he's amazing. He was so, and again, we talked about this kind of yesterday, how it can improve your performance or your art or whatever if you're passionate about what and you believe in what you're doing. Like that dude was always beaming in the ring. You could tell he was like, "Holy shit, dude, I'm living my dream." I'm in like he was there during the like absolute peak era. Like that dude was just all smiles, and you could just tell he was really thrilled to be there so that he could get more money and add to his pornography collection, right?
The Nature Boy, Dirty Dutch Mantel, and the Superstar, they ain't got nothing against
Yes, he was an old school gooner, yeah. Like, if you watch wrestling interviews, tons of the WWF guys from that era are like, Howard Finkel had everything. He had every video.
people. They ought to take every one of you, lock you in a room, and make you listen to Jerry Lawler records.
McMahon Ventura, what a maneuver! Oh, we got him. Oh, 1, 2. No, we got him. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. That's like, I hate Vince McMahon on commentary, but it's funny, so I can deal with it, but he's so over the top.
Well, folks, like I told you, we're going to take a little break now.
One of my favorite McMahon things is in one of the video games, you can play as Doink the Clown. And like if you hit a big move, one of the Vince McMahon voiceover lines is like, you got to give credit to whoever. And so if you do a big move with Doink, Vince McMahon is like, you got to give credit to Doink.
I'm taking over right here. Take a little break. We'll be back. Bye-bye.
Finkel and Okerlund had those old school voices too, yeah. I love the old shows in like Boston Garden and Madison Square Garden when they would lower the microphone like they do during boxing matches from the ceiling, and like Howard Finkel would be holding on to like the giant like microphone. That this adds so much like atmosphere to a match, I think. Especially if you only bring the microphone down for the main event. Like that really sets the stage.
Wednesday night in Evansville, let me tell you the main event. No
Oh boy, here's EFD.
time limit, no disqualification, Southern Heavyweight Championship. Can't believe the stipulation. Loser leaves town with Bill Superstar Dundee and Steve Kern. Steve, I want to ask you first, how in the world did you get yourself in that type of situation? And more importantly, how did you get Dundee to sign the match?
Well, let me answer your question in a second, Randy. First,
Now, hold on a second here. We didn't miss any episodes, right? We went from January 4th, January 11th, January 18th, but I thought, I'm assuming that we're coming in at the beginning of a cycle, and we might not be, but I thought the big match was Bill Dundee against Lawler to shave his wife's head. But now they're saying maybe they're describing a different event, but now they're saying Steve Kern is in, but we have barely seen Steve Kern, I feel like.
first of all, I'd like to say Happy New Year to all the fans from myself and from Stan and from Jackie Fargo. We've been out of town for a few weeks, but we've been home in Florida visiting our relatives. Everybody likes to get home around their relatives or their friends for the holidays. It just so happens our home happens to be in Florida, so that's where we've been. Now, in the time that we were home in Florida, we heard about the upset where Dundee beat Lawler. And Lawler...
The mic lowering was a good touch. Speaking of that, it's the only thing I remember about Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, that's because it's really cool, especially if you keep it special to like one person. I wasn't a big fan of Kennedy, but I do think that he had a good voice, so it made sense to. And people just honestly isn't one of the best ways to get over to have a catchphrase that the audience wants to repeat. So. EFD is a superstar. He is. He's one of my favorite Thorpeters. People are so mean to him, though. I don't really know why. Is he everything I've seen of him, he seemed pretty, pretty relaxed, except when he's having like if he's crashing out. But is he like been an asshole to people in the past or something that's made people dislike him?
Lawler's left town. I'd like to see that match myself just to see how that went, because I can't believe Dundee can beat Lawler in a fair and square match. But all that beside, I said to Eddie Marlin, Eddie Marlin, I'd give anything to be in a match with Dundee again for that title, because I know how precious that title means to him. As cocky as he is and the way he wears it and walks around, I said, what can I...
EFD should do fire sales and he owes you a triple. Oh my God. EFD doing fire sales? What a terrible idea. Is his channel monetized?
I do. Well, a few phone calls back and forth, and he says, if you'll agree to leave town, if you lose the match, you can have it. I said, well, I'd like a little bit more. So Eddie Marlin calls me back about 3 or 4 days later and says, "You're not going to believe what I got, Steve." He says, "I've got a loser leave."
I've seen him kind of crash out, but like, I guess to me, if I see people like pushing someone to crash out, I don't take the crash out against the person who crashes out. Like, I don't hold it against them as much. But yeah, that one stream where he pulled out the box cutter or the knife or, or whatever, Grace edited that out of the stream. I don't know if anybody else has a copy of it. I scanned YouTube for it and I didn't see it, but I did acquire a copy of the deleted EFD crash out.
Town. Whoever loses the match leaves town, including Dundee.
You're getting baked too? How's it going, Sage Kool-Aid? Speaking of, I'm about to eat. Last time I waited too long. I got a lemon sugar cookie. It's only 10 milligrams, but it'll make the second episode a little more. It'll make it a little more entertaining.
He came in, looked at the contract, read the first few lines. It said, "Bill Dundee, Steve Keirn leaves town. Bill Dundee keeps the belt." That's all he read. He went right on past the second paragraph, signed his name, real cocky-like. Well, let me tell you, Bill Dundee, for being so smart and being so cocky, you failed to read the part that says if you lose, you not only lose your title, but you got to pack your bags and leave town. Well, that's the part that I like, because I'm not only going to beat you for that title, I'm going to run you right out of here. You're real cocky with that belt around your waist.
Have I seen Hormaxer's new channel? No. But I did see that Grace made a post in Discord that he was back and basically asked everyone to be really nice to him because she wants to go back on the show. Send you the crash out, essential EFD lore. I'll post it. I'll do another scan and make sure nobody else put it up. And then if nobody else put it up, I'll post it and I'll get it up. We have a new Thorpe chatter. Are you? I saw you were feuding with somebody. Who was it? Are you talking about the person you were getting into it with on in the YouTube comments?
And king on the pile, but it's all over.
Referee Jerry Calhoun is in the ring, and we're set to go with a one-fall, 15-minute time limit match. Introducing from parts unknown at 216 pounds, the Invader. And going against him at a total weight of 230 pounds from Hamden, Connecticut, Billy Travis. This match will be...
Oh, my Lord, Billy Travis. Didn't he become a referee? What was I going to say now? I was thinking of something. I had something to say. I had something to say, damn it. I can't remember.
One fall, 15-minute time limit.
Okie doke, the jacket of...
See, somebody called you gay in the, in the comments. Well, Richard, you can just... It might just be a, just a little ruffled feathers. We might not have to escalate it.
Travis coming off, and we're about ready to get into the live action. Here it goes. Bell is sounded. One fall, 15 minutes. Travis and the Invader going at it.
Billy Travis.
Yeah, didn't Billy Travis go on to become a referee, Ed? I think that's what happened.
Ooh, wrapping up the arm. Good moves by Travis as the Invader tried to reverse him and grab the advantage, perhaps with a top wrist lock. But Travis held on. Invader on the mat, slides under the ropes. Referee there calls for a break. Billy Travis with a weight advantage on the Invader. Now the Invader bounces to his feet after a clean takedown and starts complaining to the referee that he had his tights pulled. Look at Travis move.
You recently went back and watched the Brawl for All. What got a good laugh. What an absolute disaster. Have you seen the Dark Side of the Ring episode about it? I really don't think there are very few things in the Attitude Era that were like as horrible of an idea as the Brawl for All. Like, that ruined so many plans.
Very agile wrestler, Billy Travis.
And I remember I watched it live, like when it was aired originally, and me and my friends were like, "What is this garbage?" Like, nobody took it seriously, even though we knew that it was real. It was like, who cares? Like, we're not watching this to see to see a real fight between a fake pimp and a fake cowboy.
No, I was doing a match that Travis was involved in, Davey, a week or 2 weeks ago or so, and made the comment that I think one of the greatest assets that Travis has, he has a lot of the physical attributes and he learns fast, and he's still a young wrestler. I mean, when you consider he won the Rookie of the Year, the International Wrestling Fans last year, as a matter of fact. But Billy's confidence stands him in good stead. He is a kind of a guy who thinks he can win every single match that he goes out there, and he always has been that way.
That's true, yeah, and that's most important in a match, I guess, in any sporting event, to have the confidence to think you can go out there and to wrestle with the best of them. In this case, he's always had it, as you say, and no doubt he's got it today. He's got that arm wrapped up real well, really putting pressure on the invader's left arm. Something a little extra.
Oh, 100% Daninsky. Is it Daninsky? Was there a lame attempt to cash in on UFC MMA? Yes. And if you remember, I don't know if you know this or not, but I think it was in the Vince McMahon documentary too, was that Shane tried to convince Vince to buy the UFC for $1 million at one point in time, and Vince said no. And I know people are like, oh, well, now it's worth $11 billion, but like, it's worth $11 billion because of who bought it and how they marketed it and how they ran the business. If Vince got it, it could have turned out like the XFL, and we might not even have a UFC anymore. So I don't necessarily agree with the idea that because something, you had an opportunity to buy in and you didn't, and it went up, that doesn't mean that like you would have received that, because who knows what would have happened. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, I don't know.
Travis in command as he has the arm bar with the hand right at the shoulder to put the extra emphasis on it, and Vader coming back up to his feet. Looks like he's getting...
I think Vince would have picked like the fighters that had the best personalities instead of the people that were the best fighters. Like, I just don't think I don't think he knows anything about it. He promoted some boxing matches in his youth, but I mean, nothing like on the scale. And the UFC was dead, right? They were doing those shows on like regional pay-per-view in like the swamps of Mississippi and shit. Like they were outlawed in a bunch of places. Republicans had like, which is weird because the like Dana White and everything is like a big Republican now. But back in the day, Republicans like led the charge to shut down the UFC. They called it like human cockfighting, but they were in a really, really dark place at that whenever they sold. So I don't know that Vince could have pulled them out. Yeah, same thing with WCW. Yeah, pretty much ECW. And then like he bought all the rights to all these different old wrestling companies like Smoky Mountain, World Class, AWA, and then never did anything with it. Like you can find a handful of episodes from some of these territories, or like Mid-South has a decent selection on WWE Network, but otherwise they bought the shit and then just buried it, which I think will change now that Vince isn't running things.
Getting ready to nail him one. Muscles Travis back to the corner. The referee calls for a break. They don't look like they're responding too fast.
Yeah, we're talking about confidence. This invader comes in with confidence, too. We've seen him in some tough matches.
That was during the pretend to care and on issues. Yeah, exactly. It was so stupid, too. Like, you're going to tell me that, like, if two guys want to, like, compete in a sporting event and they agree on the parameters and, like, nobody's going to die, nobody's going to get... nobody's going to get assaulted sexually assaulted. It's just going to be two guys fighting and they've agreed and here are the rules and there's a referee and there's a medical doctor. Like, you're going to tell them that they can't do that? That doesn't make sense to me. Vince is a genius at promoting wrestling, but not much else. Yeah, yes, I co-pro in the world bodybuilding thing is definitely the truth. You're debating a worst idea, Brawl for All, King of the Road match, Kennel from Hell or Judy Bagwell. King of the Road to me was a disaster, but historically I just think it's a weird match, but I think it's almost kind of beloved because it's so goofy. I don't know anybody who likes the Brawl for All, even like ironically. Judy Bagwell on a pole match might be the same way, like WCW was so far gone by then. The Kennel match is atrocious. I think the worst one though is the Brawl for All, because it came at a point where they were kind of thriving. They didn't really need to go down that road. They had Dr. Death that was going to go on to like a storyline with Stone Cold. And the whole storyline they were going to build with that was that Dr. Death Steve Williams had such an iron jaw that the Stone Cold Stunner wouldn't work on him. Well, you can't have that storyline if he gets put on his ass in a real fight. Vince didn't believe in it, would have shelled it in tough times in the early 2000s. Yes, absolutely. Yep.
He just had his confidence shaken a bit by Travis. Travis with the body slam leaves the Invader in the middle of the ring. Drops down with the lower leg.
Travis is another.
Yeah, regulate music, video games, wrestling, but not asbestos or oil or tobacco. Yeah, like make sure that music doesn't have any bad words in it, and make sure that movies don't have any titties. But nobody needs health care or anything like that.
One that has no hesitation if it calls for using the fist. He will, in fact, use it. Billy's a lot better than he used to be in that respect.
And like I'm not trying to paint it like that was an exclusively Republican issue either, because Al Gore's I think it was his wife, wasn't it, Tipper Gore? She's the one that led the charge to get those parental advisory stickers and get stores to not carry some content if it had that sticker on it. Just I don't know. I hope we don't go through another one of these like puritanical phases.
Back though. Chinlock. Knee plant.
I keep reading stories that like people want like less like sleaze and less violence in movies, and I'm just like, oh my God, what's wrong with people?
And it in the spine of the Invader as he pulls back.
Invader back up on his feet. Billy Travis still had the arm barred. Invader swinging that right fist. Billy Travis stopped him and returns the right fist himself. Now he has the Invader in the air. Drew thought he was going to put him in the turnbuckle, but he dropped him down with a backbreaker. Travis springs off the rope, drops down.
This guy weighs like 160 pounds, and he's going to use a Vader bomb as his finish.
Down, covers, count is 2, and now 3, and it's over. 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Billy Travis with a good win.
Good, solid execution by Travis as he takes the Invader in, what,
3:15.
3:15 for Travis.
Hey, the Kennel from Hell match was against Al Snow, right? Or am I wrong? What was the match he had with the... That wasn't the same match that he had with The Undertaker, was it? Where the match ended with him being hanged in the ring.
Had an interesting tag match that we wanted to share some of the highlights toward the end of the match with.
I remember seeing the Big Boss Man just dangling there from the noose, and I'm like, this is wrestling? Like, what the fuck is happening here?
Dave, it involved the Blade Runners, Borden and Hellwig, going against the team of Billy Travis and Phil Hickerson. I think noteworthy, if everybody will keep their eye on the monitor or their set, they will see the reuniting of what was formerly a very tough tag team, and Hickerson and the Spoiler. Take a look at this. Referee got his hands full. Blade Runners following up, Buddy Wayne around over on the corner. Travis out on the floor.
It's kind of unnerving to see Sting in short tights. Did he ever wear short tights again? Like, once he became Sting, I feel like he always wore the long tights. It's kind of surreal.
Buddy Wayne comes in, and that's going to be a disqualification. 8 minutes and 38 seconds. Travis coming up off the floor where he's bleeding.
Boy, look at those punches from the Ultimate Warrior. Yikes. I love that this footage is in here. Like, I'm not, obviously they're super green, but it's just interesting to see them, like, to see this old footage.
On the head of Phil Hickerson. The winners will be Hickerson and Travis in 8 minutes and 38 seconds by disqualification.
It's like a movie star that you like, but they've stopped making movies, but then you find like a deep cut from them that you never seen before. Just like that something unseen.
Travis bleeding. Hickerson taking up
Good. Look at this guy, man.
in the air. Double pump
I would buy an action figure of whoever, Friar Tuck, whoever this is.
down by the Blade Runners. Boy, his head is really whacked open. Buddy Wayne tosses Travis out. Takes another shot. Here comes the spoiler.
Their manager looks like if Paul Bearer was in ad sales at like a regional radio company.
Spoiler, remember, he and Hickerson were partners. And the spoiler using that boot.
Oh my God.
Going after the Blade Runners. Hickerson and the spoiler were at Southern Tag Champs. And when Buddy Wayne saw him coming, he thought, oh boy, here's some more, the merrier. We'll beat on Hickerson. Spoiler pulled that boot off and went wailing after the Blade Runners.
What a roller coaster, man. Who's this? I wonder if that's the actual spoiler. It probably is, because if it wasn't, they'd probably use the guy that was in a little bit better shape. So they bring these two old guys back out, and they beat the shit out of the one guy, have him cut himself open.
The winner is 8:38 by disqualification, Hickerson and Travis.
Bob Sparkplug Holly. I had one at one time. I think there was one in the Jack's Classic Superstars line, I want to say. I think, maybe. I know there were a bunch of hardcore Hollies, but I think they actually did make a Sparkplug Holly.
Fighting action coming up Wednesday night, Evansville Coliseum.
That's something that might be that we could probably watch sometime. That would be really unhinged. Or what about? Do you remember that time he gave a speech to that college class and it turned into a spectacle? That might be fun to watch. I have found, by the way, some absolutely. I don't know if it's going to be good or not because I try not to watch too much of it before the streams, but like. Well, with some of the stuff. I watch like the lolcow stuff in advance, but I've just found some really, really bizarre shit on YouTube lately that's going to make for some really weird episodes.
Son of a gun, I'll tell you, there are 5 matches on the card, and every one of them you are going to enjoy.
I found an amazing old interview, and it's really long. It's like over an hour long. I think like an hour and a couple minutes long, but it's of super, super young Randy Savage, and it's like on some kind of a late night regional talk show. And he just sits down and does an interview with this guy for like an hour. But it's really, really interesting.
Listen to this, Bill. The Blade Runners going against Billy Travis and the Spoiler. There's going to be a pledge match in there with the Fantastics going against the Sheepherders. Mid-America Heavyweight Championship match. Nature Boy, Buddy Landell will be trying tough Coco Ware. You're going to see an international title match going on when 2 Texans, Rick Casey, challenges Dutch Mantell for the international title. And then here it is, the Southern Heavyweight belt on the line. No time, no disqualification.
Oh, I bet we could do something like that, Rush Limbaugh. I bet there's somebody that's done like a most racist moments in the WWF. For the next Curiosities of the Algorithm, I've already picked out a little clip that I want to watch on there. It's the most racist McDonald's commercials ever.
Qualification going to be a winner. The loser leaves town. That's what the stipulations say. Steve Kern will be going against Bill Dundee, friend, and one of them will be saying bye-bye Evansville, Indiana. 5 big matches, all of that taking place in the Coliseum, Evansville, Indiana. Make it a point to make the trip. Be there. You know, Davey.
Be there.
With Jerry Lawler having left the area, not by choice, it opens up a very large...
Look, Dave Brown is a leech. He brings nothing to the table. He just sits there, makes weird faces while people are talking. He basically It's like during a VC where Ben's just going ballistic all the time and Grace is just going like, yeah, like that's what Dave Brown is. He's Grace in a VC.
Large hole, and there's a lot of major wrestlers that are interested in filling the spot of that guy.
You're right. All of them interested in it. Coming right in.
Austin Idol is one of those.
Warrior University. Oh my gosh. I know they took it out of circulation. Like you can't buy the DVD anymore unless you get it secondhand. But that might be something we could watch. Is the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior? That might be kind of interesting.
Those fellas.
I've seen it before, but it's been out of circulation for so long. Maybe some people hadn't seen it yet or want to see it again.
He's talking about the kid is hot tonight. I wonder if he's putting out a. Okay, up in the ring right now, a new team to our championship wrestlers, the Raiders. And here's a new team. It's not new wrestlers, but they are a new team. Dave, here's the official introduction.
All right, it's a 15-minute time.
Who the fuck is this guy? I love this era of wrestling because half the wrestlers just look like people you'd see out in the world.
Limit match introducing first from parts unknown at 453 pounds total weight, the Raiders. And going against them at a total of 501 pounds from Japan, Tojo Yamamoto.
Oh my gosh, wow, cool. So Tojo Yamamoto, big star, especially in Memphis, like super popular in Memphis, long running heel. And I think he was probably a babyface sometimes too, but the stuff that I've seen of him, he was a heel.
Partner from Austin, Texas, Dirty Rhodes. This match will be
Dirty Rhodes. I'm glad we were able to, on this Friday, smoke weed together and see fucking Dirty Rhodes. Oh, and when I was at the dispensary yesterday, I got a pre-roll that had like the greatest strain name ever, Dirty Squirt.
one fall 15-minute time limit, and the referee is Jerry.
Hey, what's up, Randy? This fucking Dirty Rhodes guy cracks me up, man. Why don't they make figures of these weird ass people? You know people would buy a Dirty Rhodes. Look at his shoes.
Calhoun.
Okay, the Raiders will be taking our first look at, as we said.
I didn't remember Tojo Yamamoto being that small, but he looks really small here.
Bell time, and here we go, off and running as Dirty Rhodes will be starting out. He will be starting against the shorter of the two Raiders as Dirty son of a gun.
Dirty Rhodes looks like if Dusty Rhodes and Harley Race had a baby.
We love to see him.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the reasons is because he loves to wrestle.
He does.
Did it smell like German chocolate cake? I haven't smelled it yet. I'm actually not gonna smoke it as a pre-roll. I'm gonna break down the gram and just smoke it in my one hitter. But it would have been nice. It'll be nice if it smells like German. But that's only for like, you know, Aphrodite is a reincarnated goddess. So I mean, her shit's gonna smell better. You know, she's got that German chocolate cake cookie.
It comes through. I think you feel that.
He has fun. He has the confidence and the ability to be able to go in there and have a good time most of the time when he's in matches. He's in there against a team that we haven't seen before, the team of the Raiders. The Raiders come in here under the mask and giving away almost 50 pounds in total weight to the team of Tojo and Dirty Rhodes, both of whom are rather large gentlemen.
Making a tag, and the taller of the two Raiders makes his first appearance on Championship Wrestling. Good clean break as Dirty Rhodes comes flying off the...
Bill Watts was always really, really good about getting over these random teams that were under a mask. He would be like, you know, we haven't seen these Raiders before, but you know, they've come highly recommended. They've won everywhere they've went. You know, they had the Canadian Central Mountain titles, and like just make up all this bullshit when really it's just two wrestlers that we already know hiding under the masks.
The ropes, hooks him up and tags Yamamoto almost in one.
You're going to watch Skyscraper? Oh, man, I love Skyscraper. It's going to be great.
Same move, and Tojo with a couple of stinging chops getting the attention of Raider number 2. Back on the ropes again, and Yamamoto cuts loose with a blistering chop. The referee was saying, be
Look at him stalking this guy.
sure you don't hit him right across the throat. Center.
Dude has to bend completely over, like, grace posture to get into a lockup with Tojo Yamamoto.
The ring, the Raider to a top wrist lock. He's got the height advantage. That would be a good move, but it didn't stay very long.
Exactly. He has the height, and that's exactly where that standing wrist lock will work for you. But against Tojo, firing those chops, nothing much works except staying out of his way.
Yamamoto winds the arm up. Over in the corner, a tag, and Raider number 1 back in the ring again.
I want to know if in any of his interviews or anything, if Dusty Rhodes ever like commented or had any stories about Dirty Rhodes.
Tojo hooks that arm, rolls him over, and slams him down. Drags him right out, but he's back up again. Tie up there above us on the ropes. And Yamamoto stung him. Boy, he whaled him with that chop, I want to tell you. Again, Tojo going with the chops to the back of the head. Puts the top of the foot to the midsection. Well, I'm not certain. He may have used the point of the toe on that.
Looked like he did with one of those. He did come back with the side of the foot to the midsection, too, after that. Tojo, boy, he's really using that chop. Just knocking the Raider down to the mat. There's a tag on Dirty Rhodes.
This camera perspective is so... I mean, I hate it. I absolutely hate the camera, the hard camera. Like, everything close to us, it's completely puts everything out of scale. Like, I hate this. I just completely hate this camera angle.
Look out. Dirty Rhodes. Off the rope, drops down. I don't think he's going to get up. 1, 2. He doesn't. Count of 3. 2 minutes, 54 seconds.
Wow, not only did they bring in Dirty Rhodes, but they let him win?
And the team of Tojo Yamamoto and Dirty Rhodes dominating the match over the team. Our first look at them, the Raiders, who come in here today against that formidable opposition and do not get out with anything more. Well, they get out of here all right, but they certainly don't have the victory. The win goes to Dirty Rhodes, Tojo Yamamoto, 2 minutes, 53 seconds.
They came in here, Dave, I think, as most teams do, nervous on their first appearance on Championship Wrestling, and then face a couple of veterans like that. Son of a gun, they found out what it was like. We want to give you some information right now pertaining to the fantastic date with the Fantastics. And before we get into it, let's bring them on in here. Bobby Bolden, Tommy Rogers, the Fantastic.
Here comes Cabana Man Dan and King TL.
Tommy, wanted you guys to be out here because I know you're very excited about the information that we're getting ready to share with all of the wrestling fans, and I think the fans are going to be equally excited. Coming up, a contest. By golly, it's the first one we've had in a long, long time. Never had one exactly like this.
Did you see that worker walk by in the background?
We call it the Fantastic Date with the Fantastic, and it's an opportunity for a couple of the gals out there in the audience to have a chance to go out with
It's the dirt shoot version of that. I'm glad we didn't have to see his dirt shoot.
the Fantastics on a date. If you guys will hold it just a second, let me give them the nuts and bolts, the details of how the contest works. Now, what we would like for all of you gals who are interested, first, you must be 18 years of age or older and single in order to enter the contest.
Now, you got to be over 18. That's already upset Tommy Rogers. He's pissed off. You got to be over 18, and you have to be single.
Contest. We would like for you to submit a picture with a written statement of why I would like to have a date with the Fantastics.
Okay, content idea. Why doesn't Grace do something like this? Why does Grace... Well, I know she wants to make content with whoever, but this is how Grace should handle who gets to be her next suitor. She should allow people to send in, like, videos telling her why they should be the next person to be able to collab with her. If the Fantastics could do it, certainly Grace could.
In 100 words or less. Hold it.
100 words or less.
Words or less, why I would like to have a date with a Fantastic, and close it with your picture. Now, please, when you submit the picture and your written statement as to why you would like to have a date with a Fantastic, please enclose your address and your phone number so that we will have...
Oh, the rats. The ring rats. I think who wants to date Grace Thorpe could be a big hit.
Have some way of getting in contact with you. Now, what's the prize? You got it. A fantastic date with these two great gentlemen here. It will consist of being picked up at your home in a beautiful limousine, taken out for a fine dinner with the Fantastics, taken down to the arena nearest your home, and you'll get a chance to enjoy the match there after spending a lovely evening with the Fantastics, and you are in for a real store. This will...
Yeah, like, I don't mean it in, like, a disparaging way at all. It's just, it's literally the terminology. Like, that's what they're called, have always been called for as long as I can remember. I remember as a kid, I heard wrestlers, like, when I was in line for concessions and stuff, I'd hear wrestlers talking about who was, like, talking about rats.
Will be a chaperone date on the Fantastic Date with a fan.
Now, notice that. You send in your information, then you get to come in and date these two guys, but there's going to be a chaperone. This is, I mean, it's almost like being in a parallel world, although nowadays, right, people will pay like thousands of dollars to pose for a single picture with a celebrity, like as part of a backstage package. So maybe this isn't really as weird as it seems, because people do so much weird shit now when it comes to celebrities.
Fantastic. And the address for you to send your entry in is as follows.
Fence building. That's part of my daily vocabulary. Fence building.
Fantastic Date, WMC TV, 1960 Union Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, 38104. Now, what we're going to ask you to do is be certain it is sent to...
The chaperone is going to be... it should be either Big Red Reese, but honestly, it should be Dirty Rhodes.
Fantastic's Date, WMC TV. Be sure and put Fantastic's Date on your address. We'll leave...
Dutch Mantel dressed up in his coal miner outfit has to accompany the people.
Leave that up there for just a moment, a chance for you to get it down. But son of a gun, what a great opportunity. And I know there's going to be 2 gals out there. By the way, the decisions will be made by Young and Associates. They will be the ones that will be making the decision, not the Fantastics or anybody.
He should grab the microphone and be like, hey, remember everybody, no rats, okay? No rats cannot win.
Connected with the company. Young and Associates will be making the decision. A couple of gals are really going to be excited. I think you guys may be too.
Well, I'll tell you, we're real excited about this. This is going to be a big thrill for the Fantastics to get a chance to take 2 girls out. Well, if it was up to me and Tommy,
have a date with Doink?
we'd like to load all these girls up in the biggest limo in the world and take them all out on a date. But the way this is going, the way this is going is that there's going to be 2 winners of this date right when they send in the card.
Buddy, please, we've got something going on.
Hey, let me tell you something. I've come out here today to tell these 2 boys I'm going to be dating them women. I'm going to get them ring rats.
Russell, it's obvious that you can see why the women in Memphis, Nashville, and the surrounding areas are starved for the sight of a real man. Because look what all they got to look up to, huh?
Hey, I'm sorry about this. We were trying to explain about the fantastic date with the Fantastics, buddy, and you have no interview scheduled out here at this time.
Well, I'm the nature boy. I take up time anytime I want to. Let me tell you something, Lance Russell. What gives them the audacity to come out there?
And no, it's really honestly not a coincidence that Nature Boy Buddy Landell wears sunglasses similar to mine. There's definitely I'm heavily influenced by this Nature Boy.
They call themselves the Fantastics just because they're one of the greatest tag teams around. They don't give them the right to come out here and mess with the heads of my women. Let me tell you something. If they can do it, so can the Nature Boy. Now, the Nature Boy Buddy Landell is going to have a date of the lifetime. All you have to do, forget the 50 words or less, all you got to do is send an 8x10.
Oh, I love Steve. I actually enjoy his matches. I think he's a good wrestler, even though he was really good at making other people look good. I'm going to start a second YouTube account, and I'm going to get a blonde wig. And then I'm gonna only go on panels in character as Nature Boy Buddy Landell.
10, photocopy of your face to this TV station. Pop the address up there on the screen, Lance Russell. Get with it. Get with it.
Well, okay.
You know, Lance, since I've been here, by the way, I have failed to see any good-looking women. Now, it's obvious when the Nature Boy goes at him like a magnet.
Ever since I've been here, I haven't seen any good-looking women. Perfect heel line. I love it.
I attract them everywhere I go, and I have to say so.
Ever since I've been on this panel verse, I ain't seen a good-looking woman yet.
Since I've been here, everything's been coming up a little bit. I have to pat myself on the back a little bit, but not too much.
Well, the address that we have, if we had any respondents to your particular one, would be the same thing. It would be WMC TV 1960 Union Avenue. I don't know whether you want them to enter it in the Fantastic date or send it to the Buddy Landell date.
Let me tell you something, Lance Russell. If you'll go check the operator's switchboard right now, the whole thing's lighting up like a Christmas tree. It's pandemonium out there. It's Nature Boy Buddy.
It's pandemonium on the telephones are lighting up the switchboards. It's pandemonium now that the women can date Buddy Landell.
Landell time around the Memphis area. Calm down, girls. You're going to get your chance, all right?
Yes, I love that shit.
Let me tell you something. What kind of stipulations do they have for their women? The only thing you got to do, girls, is...
Did you see how that was instantaneous and just like a bullseye arrow? That was so perfect.
An 8x10 color photo of yourself, okay? Write your name, your address, your phone number on the back, and I call none. And I don't want...
They have to be 18 years or older and single for the Fantastic date.
Sorry, I about spit my drink out. Dude was like, so they need to be 18 years or older, and Buddy Landell's like, well.
That's okay for the Fantastics because they might get 3 or 4 sweat hogs.
Oh my God. Over 18 might be okay for the Fantastics because they might get some sweat hogs.
To write them. But we're talking about the Nature Boy. We're talking about the difference between the minor leagues and the major leagues. Okay, Lance Russell? You know where I'm coming from? All right. Girls, if you get lucky enough to win the date with the Nature Boy Buddy Landell, just being seen on my arm, okay? Now, first off, I'm gonna bring you on this TV station, which is the strongest wrestling television in the whole world, okay? Now, I know all the executives in Hollywood. I know all the art directors of Hollywood. I know them all, okay? Let me tell you something, Lance Russell. If the girl that wins the date, if she's lucky enough to win the date with the Nature Boy Buddy Landell, if she's seen on this TV station with her on my arm, there's no telling. See, that's the way Farrah Fawcett and the rest of them, that's the way they got their start. Now, girls, for the lucky woman that wins the
Farrah Fawcett got her start after she won a Win a Date with Buddy Landell contest.
date of a lifetime with the Nature Boy Buddy Landell. Lance Russell, will you help me just a little bit here? Just a
What
little
is
bit,
this?
Just a little bit extra, something extra here. Something for the women to hang up on their wall, and every morning when they get up, Lance Russell, they can look at the Nature Boy Buddy Landell.
Okay, now that will be
Real
one of the
man.
prizes in there.
Hey, plus myself, what else do you need?
Okay. Are you gonna spring for dinner for a girl?
Lance Russell, we're talking about, look, the Fantastic, say my rent a limousine, whatever, take the girl to the Crystal. I'm talking about my brand new.
Oh my God, he said he's gonna that the Fantastics are gonna take the girls to Crystal. And if you're not familiar with Crystal, Crystal is a kind of like a fast food chain, kind of like a fast food diner in the South. I don't know if it's anywhere else in the country, but I know it's like heavily centered in the South.
New Mark 7.
So it's basically like saying you're going to take, if they go out on a date, they're going to go to McDonald's or something.
It cost me $30,000, and I'm going to the Waldorf. I ain't going to no Crystal. I'm the Nature Boy. I
He ain't going to Crystal. He's going to the fucking Waldorf.
only go first class, and don't you ever forget it.
Well, there it is. Nature Boy Buddy Landell with his own contest. Might be interesting to keep up with the tabs on the entries on.
That's going to be your job. I'm exclusively hiring you for that position, Lance Russell. Every day, every time we come out
Buddy Landell is now hiring people at random. Pretty soon we're going to see, what did he threaten lawsuits last time we saw him?
here on this TV station, I want you to update the fans.
Crystal's like White Castles, yeah. Definitely, even if you like Crystal, I mean, it's clearly he's saying the Fantastics are fast food and he's 5-star, he's Michelin star dining, and you can tell he's a man of class and and means.
Out there and see how far ahead the Nature Boy Buddy Landell is of the Fantastics.
Well, there's two of the Fantastics, so there's two girls there, and I guess one girl will be a winner in your contest.
Hey, now I'm not going to come out here and brag on myself, all right? Now the Nature Boy Buddy Landell is more capable than handling more than one woman, okay?
Yes, good job, Buddy Landell. He's like, hey, if the Fantastics get 2 ring rats, why don't I?
But for that single night alone, I'm only one man, and I'm only going to take one girl out. I'm sorry,
Based.
girls. One girl. No ties, no tiebreakers, none of that stuff. One girl and one girl only, okay? That's it.
Okay. Nature Boy Buddy Landell's contest, 19 WMC.
Honestly, doesn't his date sound a lot better? You're going to go to the Waldorf Astoria. You're going to have a great meal. He's turning away all other women to like solely focus on his date. That's got to be better than getting like tag teamed by the Fantastics after going to Crystal.
CTV, 1960 Union Avenue.
Buddy Landell date.
And it'll be Memphis, Tennessee, 38104. We're going to keep tabs on the entries for all of it.
Nature Boy up above Buddy Landell there,
Okay, Buddy Landell date. All right. Well, you heard Landell. Don't forget that we have the Fantastic Date with the Fantastics contest also. We're going to take time out. Be back with more action in the ring in just a moment.
Kevin McQueen standing in the ring right now. New face on Championship
Wow, get a look at this guy, Kevin McQueen.
Wrestling, and his partner, someone that everyone's familiar with, carrying the bullwhip with him, steps into the ring. This will be a one-fall, 15-minute time limit match from Springfield, Tennessee at 230 pounds. Introducing Kevin McQueen, and going against him
Oh, boy.
from Oil Trough, Texas at 229 pounds, Dutch Mantell. One fall, 15-minute time limit.
All right, here we go. We got some more Dutch content. Which, if you're if you're interested in Dutch news, he's got his podcast that does pretty well, but he's been having some health issues. Supposedly he's getting better, and they're hoping that he'll be back to making episodes within a couple weeks. But he had pneumonia and he had pneumonia and sepsis. And I think he had like a GoFundMe or something, but they basically just said, like, if you want to support, you can just like watch clips from old shows and shit like that. You kind of miss the bumper music. I do too, and it really irritates me because in order to keep the VODs up on these, I have to edit out all of the bumpers, and I hate that.
Referees Jerry Calhoun.
But WWE claims the video in the bumpers as well as the audio. So I just have to completely take it out, unfortunately.
Okay, we're ready for the bell, and here we go. McQueen, a youngster. As a matter of fact, he is out of the same town that Tracy Smothers.
Tracy Smothers' hometown, you're right, yeah. Kevin McQueen has good height, good weight. He weighs in about 230.
His podcast is Story Time with Dutch Mantell, if you're interested and you weren't aware of it or whatever.
Looks like he's in pretty doggone good shape. Oh, Dutch Mantell got to be a little surprised there, huh? Took him right down. Dutch gets to his feet. I don't know what he's complaining about. He said something to the referee, though.
Gross. Can you imagine locking up with him and it's like you fucking putting your hands into like a shag carpet?
Queen, brand new in professional wrestling, and that son of a gun has laid a couple of moves on the Dutchman already, David.
There you go, chat. Another son of a gun.
Yes, indeed. Mantell working that left arm. Hey, reversal by Kevin McQueen. Mantell backed into the turnbuckles. Referee steps in between them. Kevin McQueen backs away. Headlock by McQueen. Air pulling by Mantell. There he is again. Yanked him by the hair. Pulled McQueen over to the ropes. Got him going across the ring. Planted the boot right in the stomach as he came off the ropes. Ooh.
Man.
Wow. Did he hit him in the small of the back with that knee or what? Mantell jabbed him with that right hand, the one with the glove on it.
Going back right after that spot where he dropped the knee on Dave. Double-handed him right there.
Yeah, this is just such a different vibe. Like, this is Kevin McQueen or whoever's first match. He said he was a complete newcomer. Crowd has no idea who he is. They just know that he's the good guy, and like that's enough. Like, they're super behind him, like, you know, rallying for him and shit. And they're just doing it because he's the good guy and Dutch is a good heel. They don't care about work rate or how long the match is, or you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like such a simpler time.
Dutch Mantell barred the left arm, steps over on it. Minute and a half gone in this one. Kevin McQueen. Boy, Dutch really hurt him in the back. Oh. Mantell. Look out. Picking him up in the air.
This may be it.
Slammed him, yeah. 1, 2, and 3. Boy, McQueen was never the same in that one after he got hit in the back by Dutch Mantell. He was holding his back from time to time throughout the rest of the match. Kevin McQueen came in here looking good early in the match against Dutch Mantell, but Dutch turned it into his favor, and you can see what happened.
I mean, what'd he bring the whip out for if he's not going to whip the guy?
Here is Dutch wrapped it up and got the win in 2 minutes, 6 seconds. Here it is, as Dutch just picked him straight up and slammed him face first right down into the mat, turned him over, cover, count of 3, and that was it.
Mantell, your winner, and let's just go ahead.
It would be better if Dutch did a couple 450s. Oh my God. He has the build of a modern light heavyweight. Damn, that was quick. Yeah, we've got to get old squash for Kevin McQueen.
Yeah, Dave, short
Oh, look who's back, this guy.
match. Let's stick another single match right in here. And the participants are out, and we're ready for the introductions on this one.
All right, this will also be a one-fall, 15-minute time limit match. Introducing first from Memphis, Tennessee at 203 pounds, David Johnson. And going...
Dave Brown's decided to actually clock in and put in a little bit of work for a change.
Against him, from Los Angeles, California, 226 pounds, the Nature Boy, Buddy Landell. This match one fall 15-minute time limit. Referee Jerry Calhoun back in there.
Okay, Johnson facing enough one of.
I don't know what how this crowd would react to a to a 450 splash. I mean, they'd probably cheer, but I mean, probably be like their minds would be blown. I'll try to find the video, but I saw Ricochet, and I want to say 2006. I saw Ricochet on a show in I think it was rural Indiana or in rural Kentucky, and it wasn't his first match, but it was like he had probably had under 10 matches at that point. And the only reason anybody was hearing about him regionally was because he was doing double moonsault at the time. And whenever my friends and I heard the name Ricochet, we thought he was an Irish guy. But anyway, we went to see him, and he did the double moonsault. But like we were expecting like an Irish gimmick, and instead it was like he's pretty cut now. But like back then when he was like just getting started, he was so skinny, like you would not believe how skinny Ricochet was. But he hit the double moonsault. It was fucking insane to see it in person. Like seeing it happen, it looked like seeing it in person, it was like that literally gravity was being like defied. It was really wild. Was he allowed to do that in WWE or no? I haven't seen a lot of his matches from there.
Tough opponents. He's got one here in Landell, a national title holder who gives him a quick look and then turns away. Buddy Landell, good, quick, rugged wrestler, and you can see he wastes no time in getting underway on David Johnson. Just laced him with a drop kick. Boy, what a drop kick that was. See that foot right in the face, kicked his head loose.
Yeah, he unloads that drop kick in very close to his opponent. That gives him lots of.
I saw Ricochet super early. Like literally, he was I'm pretty sure I saw him in one of his first matches in any kind in a company of any kind of note. I think he was doing stuff in really indie Indiana. And I saw him in an indie too, but it was an indie that has national DVD coverage. But he was like basically tied at the hip at that time to Chuck Taylor, who's in, I think either is or was in AEW. But yeah, Ricochet was so small back then, dude. I saw all the people that were in WWE right now. I saw a match one time where Seth Rollins, who was Tyler Black at the time, he was in like a big high school gymnasium, and he got up on like the rim and the backboard, and he was gonna jump down onto a guy that was on a table, but he missed, and he hit like his like ribs on the side of the table. It was so gnarly.
Spring and uses lots of extra spring action to kick his opponent harder than if he were farther away from him.
And he doesn't tip it off either, Dave. That's the thing about Landell. Landell will fool you in that respect. Big knee to the midsection. Mares Johnson right over.
So he did do the double moonsault. It's fucking nuts. Like, I don't understand how it's possible. And like seeing it on TV is crazy. When I saw it in person, it was just like I couldn't. It was like seeing real life CGI, kind of. Tyler Black, Tyler. You first saw him as Prince Puma and Lucha. Oh yeah, Lucha Underground was amazing. I love the crazy ass storylines.
Over the shoulder and in behind, reverse face lock as he hooks around that chin, and Johnson down on the mat.
Rollins was in a tag team back then with a guy called Merrick Brave, and since he was called Tyler Black, they were the Black and the Brave. And then when Seth Rollins went to WWE, Merrick Brave, and he founded like I think it's called the Black and the Brave Academy or something like that. So they have a training school that Merrick Brave runs. I saw Merrick Brave one time get up on the top rope, and he was going to do a shooting star press. But he just went straight up in the air and then came right back down. And like his body, like, you know, this, like there's the turnbuckle, and then there's like a piece of cable that connects to the ring post. His stomach like he folded himself in half on that section of cable between the turnbuckle and the ring post. It looked so bad.
Has never
I mean bad, like as in it really hurt.
gotten unsprung. Landell didn't give him a breather, and the referee now is going to give him a second breather, but that's all. You notice how quick he stayed right in on top of him. Ooh. Big elbow from Landell.
Yeah, that's why it's called that. Yeah.
Landell, as he was dropping down, did a half spin in the air. We got figure 4 leg lock.
He says it's the figure 4 leg lock, and that's going to take care of it too. A submission hold as Buddy Landell.
Look at Landell. This is great heel work.
Does have a good one. He clamps on a dandy, and that figure 4 leg lock is successful against David Johnson. Landell springs it loose and comes out the winner over David Johnson. We've got more action in the big 8-man expiration of time match coming up in just a moment.
That might be something kind of fun to do on a stream sometime, is find an old indie show that has a bunch of like big name people that went on to be big stars, and like watch some of them in like early matches.
Some more of that big action.
Total Flair, 100%, man. You can't even deny it. Like what's great though is that they actually wrestled in the same places at the same time sometimes. So they'd even like feud with each other occasionally. I think he has an epic promo. I think he's great in the ring, but Buddy Landell was just such a terrible alcoholic. He just like every opportunity he got, like he just like wasted it pretty much.
Coming up, we're going to get back in the ring in just a moment. We want to remind you again, 3 big title matches coming into the Coliseum on Wednesday night. And
where does his southern accent come from? It was so subtle, Randy. You can barely pick up on it. I love the Buddy Landell voice. It's so fucking goofy. It's so like, it just sounds so deep redneck to me. But he has like, I think he has a decent amount of charisma. So like, the combination and then like his personality, it just makes him seem like so goofy, but it still seems like he would fight you. Like if you fucked with him.
Evansville, and one of them is going to be a Southern Heavyweight Championship match. No time, no disqualification. Steve Kern, Bill Dundee will be squaring it off. Bill, I don't think you read.
I hope Buddy Landell gets on the mic and cuts a big-ass promo on Randy Wanzer over this controversy.
All of the contract in there.
He read it, and he read it. Did you see what it said? Anything?
3 Nature Boys, Buddy Rogers, Ric Flair, and Buddy Landell. There's also another one. Oh, shit. You'd have to look it up. It's, is it Nature Boy Paul Lee? There's another Nature Boy that even wrestles to this day that kind of has his own little indie promotion. I want to say that it's Paul Lee, but it might not be.
It's a conspiracy, brother. You know it as well as I do.
Did you see it?
I'm sick and tired of all these whole keyboard warriors on the internet saying Buddy Landell's accent ain't from Hollywood. I was born in Beverly Hills, brother.
Stacking the cards against us, Bill. You know exactly what they're trying.
The first page, it's this big, and it's in big black letters. You don't need no glasses to read that. You don't need bifocals like Marlon's going. But there's 4 pages. He says to me, sign your name on the first one. I did that. And like we said, we're not crying over spill.
This right here, Buddy Landell, this is exactly how I would dress if I ever met up with the Thorpes.
Milk Kern, because none of us like you, Jack, and we wouldn't want to be 1/3 of nothing, because we're all our own men. You looking at them, Daddy, 3 individuals, the Nature Boy, the Dutchman, the living legend, and the ex-superstar. You know why with that? Tell them why with that, buddy.
There you go, Black Nature Boy. Whoever the one is, Paul Lee, he was in Smoky Mountain is the only reason I'm even aware of him, but he was like, if you think that Buddy Landell is like a T-Move version of Ric Flair, Paul Lee, or whatever his name is, he's a T-Move version of Buddy Landell. It's like making a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and it definitely shows.
We run the king out of town, right?
That's exactly right. The women are starved in Evansville for the sight of some real men. And you're looking, Lance Russell, at the...
That's awesome. See, Ben needs to work that. I think it would be so funny if he worked some of this shit into his stuff. Since he's like so... taking like the kind of like the men's rights approach anyway, Why not like make Glenn Lawrence have a moment of silence so that all the women that are watching and that are in chat can take a moment to, relax and enjoy the sight of finally seeing a real man on a debate panel?
The epitome of manhood right here. It's obvious the last time we was in Evansville.
Buddy, you want me to be Buddy Landell for Halloween? I think I could pull off a pretty good Buddy Landell. I'll see if I can get a Buddy Landell outfit together for a classic Wrestling Friday sometime.
The building was sold out because of the main reason that some real men were finally in town.
That's right. We're not selling the man short that lost the last one either. Jerry the King Lawler. Great athletes, man.
Who?
Jerry Lawler. That's right. But he was a great
Who?
athlete, and I'm saying was. He was a great athlete. Curtin, you are a great athlete, and after next week, they're going to say he was a great athlete, because Fargo and Lane can't do nothing to help you, Daddy. You're in there with me, man.
I'm also not really going to say anything if I meet up with the Thorpes. I'm just going to stand behind them like this. I'm just going to kind of be the, just going to hang out in the background.
And on man, the Southern heavyweight champion, the living
And just every once in a while, I'll chime in with like a one-liner.
legend, Bill Dundee, and a loser leave town. And you tricked me into signing it, Curtin, you and that bag of bones model, and I'm taking my spite out on you. They said it wouldn't happen the last time, but it did, and it's going to happen this time.
Well, that's the conversation coming up from Bill Dundee.
Let me say one thing. We get to Evansville,
He should put that cigar out in this dude's eye.
Indiana. It's going to be a clean sweep. 1, 2, 3. And let me tell Rick Casey something. Casey, if
Yeah.
you show up, baby, put that car in short-term parking, because it ain't going to take me long to knock you out.
Put your car in short-term parking because it's not going to take me long to knock you out. Hell yeah. Yes, exactly, Deninsky. I just think if your goal is to piss people off, there's so much you can draw from wrestling that would work in the panel verse. Oh yeah, Dutch never does light his cigarette. That's true. I didn't know that was the case here. I'm glad you pointed that out, because he makes a point of saying on his podcast that he's always got a cigar, but he's never smoking it. Like, imagine if when the debate opens, if Ben is like, hey, I need to say something first, and it's just, I need everyone in chat to give us complete silence so that I can focus on what I'm doing. I don't want to be distracted by chat. Could everyone in chat just stop typing and just appreciate the fact that I, one of the greatest debaters on YouTube, am here, and you're having an opportunity to listen to me. So don't ruin it for others, and please show me the respect that I deserve, and just keep chat to a minimum. Like, people would lose their shit. It would be, they'd be asking how much to kick him off.
Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers, the Fantastic. They're followed by Rick Casey, Coco Ware, their partner.
He really should, Randy. I mean, Ben is a heel. No matter how you feel about him, Ben is he's an obvious heel. He goes into all these debates knowing he's going to be like he has the less popular or harder to defend takes normally. So like, he should just lean into it. Oh my God. See, but that would work for Glenn Lawrence if he said that, if he like released a video this morning or something to hype it up, and he was like, reminded Ben to like, please take a shower because, he's a real, content creator, and he doesn't want it to look like he's debating some homeless guy. That would get Glenn Lawrence a lot of positive attention, I think.
I know that there is not a match can be held without our song, and it just happens to be Waltzing Matilda. Booba, sing Waltzing Matilda. Waltzing Matilda, Waltzing Matilda. Yeah.
I mean, if you're not taking it seriously, and I think that I think Ben will have will put in effort and debate him, but I think that Ben is going to have fun with it. I think he's going to make arguments solely for the purpose of kind of entertaining himself or getting a reaction out of people. So if you're already kind of approaching it from a troll perspective, like just lean into that. And then Glenn, he did a really good job of kind of dog walking Glenn on one of the debates that I watched, and like Glenn doesn't want to be out red pilled, and that's I think where he runs into problems with Ben, because Ben will say like that it's okay. He'll like make Glenn take baby steps. Like, would you do this? Okay, well, if you do that, then you'd certainly do this, and then you do this. And then Glenn's like, well, yeah, if there was a fire and she wouldn't wake up, I'd smack her across the face. And then Ben's like, oh, so it is okay to smack a woman sometimes. And like Glenn's not good about reacting or having like answers to that kind of stuff, at least that I've seen. I think Ben's going to like crush him in the debate. I mean, he just seems... I've never seen the two of them have a discussion where I thought like Glenn did better. But I'm not saying that Ben is necessarily right. I'm just saying that like he's a better debater, and I think he knows how to lead Glenn around a little bit. But I think it'll be fun to watch.
Come waltzing Matilda with me, as she sang as she walked and waited for her Billy Boy. You come waltzing Matilda with me, down came a jump.
Oh, I thought that was Kane.
About to drink at the belly button, up jumped the swaggy, running with glee, as she sang as she charged.
Well, I mean, they had a stream this morning looking totally drained like zombies, and the debate is tonight. Like, I'm not trying to be negative, but I mean, this has to take a toll on them. Like, I understand if people aren't sympathetic to them, but like it does have to take a toll of like just, it's an obligation at this point, right? Streaming to them is like an obligation. If you're operating under the fact that like they're being honest about their finances, like they got to get on every day. Donations have been low, views have been going down. Like, it's just living in the, it just seems like there's I would just be so exhausted if I were either one of them, I think. But I mean, if you want to keep streaming, like, you got to do it whether you're exhausted or not, I guess. But I would just be like, it's tired. I feel exhausted for them sometimes. Well, for a lot of content creators that have to do it every day.
The jump again and step back. You come waltzing Matilda with me.
I'm glad it doesn't have any more verses.
That's not even factoring in the struggle sessions. I mean, that's a whole nother layer of, like, I'm sure emotional exhaustion.
Yeah, not the truth. 8-man tag team match coming up. Should be a while one.
I sent Grace a clip of Sean Connery explaining why it was okay to slap a woman to try to maybe motivate Ben, give him some inspiration going into the debate.
Inspiration of time match introducing first at a total weight of 941.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I agree 100%. I'm not saying that like it's a difficult job. I'm just saying that like I understand why the streams are low energy. Like, I think Grace works best when she can stream for like a few days in a row, then take a couple days off and then come back. I mean, it's just you're right though. I mean, Story Weaver, there are people that do literally have to work a job they hate every day, for sure, and can't and don't have the luxury of being able to like personally attack the coworkers that they don't like. I'm just thinking, like, if I were in that situation of like trying to make streaming work as like a profession, and I was like, you know, kind of trying to find a new direction or whatever, I just think it would be I'd be pretty exhausted. But I also think that Ben and Grace are performers, and I think that I think the streams maybe are letting them do whatever they need to do, but I think when the time comes, I think they'll like step up and they'll deliver like that big, they'll come through when they're on stage, when they're on the bigger stage, if that makes sense. Difficult to perform every day, yeah. And again, like, it's not just the streaming, like, but that they've been streaming, in my opinion, like really heavy. Like the struggle sessions just seem like they've been like a lot heavier than normal, at least to me.
Pounds from St. Louis, Missouri, Tony Falk. From Pensacola, Florida, Pat Rose. And from New Zealand and Mongolia, the Sheepherders, Taurus Bulba and Rip Morgan, Jonathan Boyd in their corner with a New Zealand flag.
I mean, I think there's a reason that YouTube creators, even successful ones, often like kind of have a show. I think the average shelf life is like 5 years or something. I know some people obviously have made it last longer, but I mean, I think there's a reason that kind of most YouTube channels and creators have kind of like a finite viability.
Against him, total weight 898 pounds. From San Antonio, Texas, Rick Casey. From Union City, Tennessee, Coco Ware. And from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers, the Fantastics. 8-man tag team match.
Oh shit, there he is, Coco Ware.
Expiration of time, the referee Jerry Calhoun.
Okey-doke. Let's see who it is that's going to be starting out of the 8-man bell time. Here we go. Looks like Taurus Bulba starts out and Bobby Fulton, Dave.
All right, Taurus Bulba, Bobby Fulton for, respectively, the team of the Sheep.
What the fuck's this guy's name? Taurus Bulba?
Birders and the
Wasn't that one of the pod racers in the Phantom Menace?
Fantastics 8-man tag match. Boy, whenever you have one of these, you end up with lots of people in the ring sometimes. Nice move by Bobby Fulton on Taurus Bulba. Bulba tried to run back into it. Bobby Fulton just went by him. Look at that. Takes him down. Fulton follows with a drop kick. Taurus Bulba down on the mat. And again, Bobby Fulton really keeping Taurus Bulba, the sheepherder, off his feet. Tommy Rogers got that arm, and Bulba says now is the time for Rip Morgan to come to our aid. He made the tag on his other sheepherder partner. USA the chant as the sheepherders continue to...
How much of that is timing with how fast trends and demographics are changing now? I think the shelf life is relative to the industry. Athletes, actors, dancers. Yeah, I agree. I would definitely say so. I think if you look at creators who made it 5 years ago, I don't think they could make it now. So some of them couldn't anyway. So I think there's definitely a timing issue. Aphrodite's been streaming for like 9 years. Aphrodite, though, I think is a completely different type of creator than the Thorpes. We've seen a ton of her content now, right? Well, I feel like we've watched hours and hours of her content. I cannot remember more than maybe 1 or 2 instances of her asking for donations or asking to buy a membership. I know she is her channel is monetized. To me, Aphrodite is somebody who just really enjoys creating, but it's always been like a hobby, right? Like she's got a regular job and it's not her life. Like it's not the driving force of her existence. Like I think she has longevity because she isn't relying on it for a job. So that pressure of like, how many views, but I mean, you hear her on the stream. She's like, oh my God, we have 7 people watching. That's awesome. Or we have 15 people watching. That's awesome. That's not what you hear on channels where people are trying to be like, make a living doing it. Or at least typically they're not that nice about it. But I think there's a difference between doing it for fun or just strictly out of passion versus trying to make a living and a career out of it. I think there's just a whole nother level of like pressure and obstacles if you're trying to like make a living off of doing this.
We've got New Zealand flag around the ring. Jonathan Boyd carrying it.
Tara Bulba was an old Yul Brynner Mongolian movie. I'm going to have to look that up. Tara Bulba.
Tommy Rogers. Whoa, Morgan reverses Rogers. Rogers ducks under the clothesline, and another one. Presses him down to the mat. Shoulders are down. He can't make him stick for a count. Rogers with a drop kick. Look at Morgan flying through the air as Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton have really showed the sheepherders here how they can move around the ring and keep their opponents moving in ways they don't want to go. Tag.
Stop chanting that bloody USA. How do you expect the sheepherders to concentrate?
Yeah, like if you're doing it as a hobby or just out of a passion for creating, then like if your video doesn't do well, it's like it's not really gonna. Hopefully anyway, people that are just doing it as a hobby aren't like poring over their analytics, trying to figure out what they can change to get more viewers. I just think they're like, oh, that video didn't get very many viewers, oh well. Like, I just think it's much more difficult when you have to rely on the viewers, because like what can you really give people on here? Like you have to give a certain amount of content just to get people in the door. But then if you lock away too much content, then you're gonna I don't know. Just trying to make a living at doing this just seems like a complete nightmare to me. I can't even imagine.
Request from Jonathan Boyd, I'm sure will go unheeded. Pat Rose is in.
This is a bloody handicap match. The sheepherders are handicapped by two bloody Yankees.
No handicap match. 4 men on the side here. That's Pat Rose flying through the air, and Rick Casey showing him how to do it. Jonathan Boyd is most unhappy with the performance of his team so far. Pat Rose having no better luck than the sheepherders against him. He sends Tony Falk in there.
Remember when that guy came in and said he was Pat Rose's son?
Falk out of St. Louis, Missouri against Rick Casey from San Antonio. These two have faced before. Matter of fact, Falk lost 2 matches in one day on Championship Wrestling to Rick Casey. Reversal by Casey, fires Falk into the ropes. Not off of there, he just dumped him over the back, follows with a drop kick, and Tony Falk.
So Rick Casey's pretty much the only thing he's really changed is that he's added in the babyface clap. So if you see sometimes before he does a move, he'll like clap his hands, but that's the only really thing I'm seeing him evolve as.
Back on his feet, reaching for a tag. He's in the wrong corner. Casey got the tag. This is Bobby Fulton. Fulton presses down on the left arm. Tag made. Tommy Rogers. Off the middle rope. Upper arm across the upper arm of Tony Falk. Rogers makes the tag. Bobby Fulton coming back in. Falk pulling hair. Bobby Fulton fired into the ropes. Shoulder butt. Falk goes down to the mat. Fulton back in control. The action fast and furious here. Tony Falk looked like a fist. Partially blocked here by Pat Rose, but that's the way it looked from this vantage point. Falk drops down with a lower leg across the throat. Bobby Fulton whipped into the ropes. With a body slam on Fulton. Fulton moves out of the way. Bobby Fulton taking control again. He makes the tag on Tommy Rogers. Falk off the ropes. Fulton slams him, leaves him there. Rogers off the ropes.
Who makes the AI Thorpe alert? I do, yeah.
Oh, covers. 1, 2. They got it.
Not just anybody. A Yank lost.
Nobody came in to try to break up the pin. I feel like this episode was kind of thrown together. I think the only segment that I really loved was the Buddy Landell interview.
Not the Sheepherders. We'll win that tournament.
Jonathan Boyd making the point that it was not one of the sheepherders that got pinned, but it was a member of his team that got pinned in 4:07, and they lose that first fall in the expiration of time match.
Yeah, you can get away from anybody you want to in
Oh, never mind. We still got I didn't know it was 2 out of 3 falls.
an awful hurry as he did. He just left Falk out there on his own. He's the one that lost it. We didn't lose it. So there it is.
These are also not the sheep herders that these must be a different set of sheep herders. I've always heard I've always seen the old bushwhacker matches listed as that, but these are definitely not the same sheep herders. This must be like alternate Timu sheep herders, like Dirty Roads.
So first of all, we got to check our time, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Entertainment keep you in touch with the latest.
We have cranked the time right down to the wire.
We are
Look at this bum, Dave Brown.
proud of it. The Fantastics putting together the victory for their team along with Coco Ware and Rick Casey.
Yeah, it turned out to be an excellent.
Oh no, I guess it was just one fall. Yeah, I don't know. I've had like no idea there was another set of sheep herders. I was pretty gobsmacked, as Nicky New would say.
One, and I wish we did have more time for a couple of falls. We do not. Be looking forward to seeing you next.
Oh, so there was supposed to be more falls, but because Dave Brown doesn't know how to properly anchor a television show, we don't get to see those other falls. Maybe they'll show them in the next episode. Let's hope.
Next week. Hey, keep that fantastic date with the Fantastics in mind. We'll have more on it next week. For Dave Brown, Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody.
See, they don't even trust Dave Brown to say goodbye. This will definitely get claimed. The video and the audio will definitely. Dave Brown.
Everybody, Lance Russell and Dave Brown, and we're gathered about the ringside here, ready to go with another big day of championship wrestling, and it is a biggie day.
Ooh, it is indeed. We'll start things off with a single match, then we'll bring in the Fantastics. They will be here. And
see, they told him, they were like, listen, Dave, that last episode, shit, you got to amp up the energy. We want to see enthusiasm, and now Dave Brown is he's fighting for his job here.
Tag team match today. A little bit later on, hey, should be a good match. We'll have Billy Travis, David Haskins teamed on one side. On the other side, it's going to be that team of Buddy Landell and Dutch Mantell. And that's not all. Dirty Rhodes is here today, and a Southern...
Oh, my God, they brought Dirty Rhodes back?
Heavyweight championship match, as Bill Superstar Dundee will be in here with the belt.
Puts it on the line. I got to tell you, we'll have some comments about that. In addition to that, meeting a brand new wrestler on Championship Wrestling. He's not a brand new wrestler, but a brand new wrestler on Championship Wrestling here today. We'll be seeing Larry Hamilton, known as the Irresistible Gent. He'll be making an appearance. You'll be impressed with his...
The Irresistible Gent.
Background. We'll be back with that first round of action and Larry Hamilton in just a moment.
Well, this music is really wild. Who is this guy? Look at the way he's dressed.
There he is, right there, making his way up to the ring. Larry Hamilton. We're set to go with this one fall, 15-minute time limit match. Introducing from parts unknown at 218 pounds, the Invader. And going against him from Tampa, Florida, 232 pounds, Larry Hamilton. This match will be one fall, 15-minute time limit. Jerry Calhoun.
All of the entrance music will get claimed, but it won't affect the video. Like, it just makes it to where I can't monetize it, so I don't really care. I love having like that they'll let it stay up with the original music in for some of this stuff. I really appreciate that they just don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, that they give you the option just to leave it more complete. The WWE always like either will like block it globally unless you take out their music.
The referee.
Bell time, and we're off and running as Larry Hamilton makes his debut on our Championship Wrestling against Jim Jamison. Larry, kind of an impressive background, Dave. He has a...
Do you think there's just someone at WWE whose job it is to, like, check in every once in a while and do, like, the content ID and see who, like, you know, see what, and then just, like, see who's using stuff that matches, and then they just hit, like block all. That's what I bet that's what they do.
Excellent amateur
Because it took him almost a week to take the video down.
record. He was a two-time champion in Jacksonville, Florida. He also, look at that drop kick. Boy, he's up in the air and pounded Jamison good. In his junior year, he won at University of Tampa. He won the National Collegiate.
Well, no, it's not even about the money. Like, well, I get that overall it is, because like they're thinking like people won't buy the wrestling from them, but like on top of the fact that like you can't even get this through WWE, but like they it's not like they're even like, I would be cool with it if they were like, hey, we're gonna take over the monetization on this video. Like I would be fine with that. Just like leave it in, if they would just leave it intact, but they just block it globally over like 30 seconds or 45 seconds of video. That isn't out of a 4-hour video. That doesn't really seem right.
Title out in North Dakota. 1, 2, and the Invader had down. So he's got quite an amateur background.
Boy, he does indeed. Quite a collegiate background.
Yeah, it's the same guy, Ed, the Invader. I think he's lost every single show we've watched.
On there, and he looks impressive so far against this Invader that he's going against. Put that arm up behind the back. Drops down with the knee and the lower part of the leg. The Invader hasn't been able to make much of a move on him. Hamilton's got good size, 232 pounds. Looks like it's fairly well distributed on that frame too.
He was one half of the U.S. Tag Champions at one point. He and Pistol Pez Watley were partners when they won those tag titles. And it's kind of interesting because Pez had such a great amateur background himself.
Larry Hamilton. Boy, he's stretching out that shoulder.
I thought I saw Mr. Leahy in the crowd. I'll pause it and point him out if I see him again.
The Invader.
You think they had Jerry Lawler go out in the... It would be kind of neat if you didn't have any tattoos or anything and you could go out and like be a completely different character but like try out new shit and stuff.
On his knees. Trying to get back on his feet. He's there, but not in very good shape. Hamilton hooked the arm, took him down. Shoulder.
There's Mr. Leahy right here. Does my thing show up on screen? No? Oh. Like, if you look at the referee's ass, Mr. Leahy is directly north and slightly to the west.
Shoulders were down briefly, but the Invader able to get one shoulder up. Didn't do him much good because that wrist lock that Hamilton has on him is a punishing hold.
I'll tell you something else that was down too was his head. When he hooked that wrist and took him over with it, he slammed his head right down into that mat and left the Invader a little stunned. Ooh, what a drag.
Yeah, Invader finds himself right back on the mat. He's been struggling through this whole thing.
I would have been such an asshole fan, I think, back in these days when you saw the same people all the time, all the same wrestlers, so you could like really get some like rapport going.
2.5 minutes gone now. Larry Hamilton pretty much in control of the situation.
Southern heavyweight title match, in case you missed it a little earlier. That'll be coming up later on in our championship wrestling today.
Invader nails him.
We'll see the Fantastics in operation also. Aha! Down on the mat goes the Invader.
Well, the Invader had a moment, but Hamilton takes control again. The Invader off the ropes. Suplex down to the mat. Count is 1, 2, and 3.
Dynamite action as Larry Hamilton nailed that belly-to-belly suplex, slammed the Invader down, and got the 1, 2, 3. That son of a gun is...
I mean, it wasn't great, but at least it was kind of like fast-paced. There was some, it was at least mildly interesting opener.
Even more devastating almost than a power slam because you've got your whole weight coming down on top. And it was an impressive win for a guy, as we said, with
I'm watching Dave Brown like a hawk.
Impressive credentials. Larry Hamilton, the time again, Dave?
3 minutes even.
3 minutes straight up and down. That's just a bit of it. We've got more, and back to it in a moment.
I don't really feel like he got this really solid. It looked like I don't know whether Invader sandbagged him or he had trouble getting him up, but I thought it looked a little bit awkward. I think it was just the angle. I think that it looks okay from this different angle.
Wednesday night, the action at the Evansville Coliseum you are going to love. 6 matches.
You don't like the belly-to-belly as a finisher? I think you have to really be able to hit it. Shane Douglas had a good one. Magnum TA had a good one. But, I mean, you have to... It's like it's like using a lariat, right? There has to be a difference between, like, a clothesline and then, like, a lariat finisher. So I think you just have to hit it, like, really, really well. And then, obviously, you wouldn't want anybody else on the... Like, that shouldn't be a, preliminary move for anybody else.
And I mean dynamite, outstanding matches. Hair against the mask with no disqualification. That's going to be a dandy. Mid-America title match, Buddy Landale, barbed wire match, taped fist match, loser leave.
Barbed wire, taped fists, loser leaves town.
We'll get to them one by one in a moment. Mid-America title, Buddy Landale, the nature boy, holding that title in there against Tracy Smothers.
Thanks, Russell. You're looking at the cock of the walks in Evansville, Indiana, Jack. Let me just tell you something. Tracy Smothers, if you blink, you'll miss it.
Well, you heard it from Landale. We'll see what happens Wednesday night. Boy, you better have confidence.
There's Bill Dundee dressed like he's works at a tractor sales outlet.
Wire around that ring.
Coca we're barking and I helped Buddy Landale cheat him out of that belt. Well, that's a lie, Jack, and I don't like barbed wire fences because I got something that you don't have to wear. That's a pretty face, and I don't...
You were watching 1989 WWF earlier. I so wish that I could even just like random matches to watch WWE on here, but I can't get anything past them on YouTube.
I want nobody rubbing up against it. Not you, Dad.
Now on Twitch... They've never taken a stream of mine down. I've shown like regular movies on there all the time and documentaries and like newer shows, and I never had any trouble. But on YouTube, for some reason, like there's just so much, probably because of the content ID match, I would think.
Eddie, well, I'm taking you out just like I did Curtin and Jerry. What's
exactly, John Deere.
his name?
Dutch Mantel going in a tape fist match.
Well, look at Dutch, man. This is a pretty badass look. He's bigger than I thought, too, if he's the same height as Buddy Landale. I always thought he was kind of a shorter guy. He's got the glove, got the trademark hat, he's got some cool shades.
Dutch Mantel is still the international heavyweight champion. I'm going to remain so as long as I want to be. Now, I don't know what's wrong with Casey. Obviously, he's got brain damage from me knocking his brains out so much. But, Casey, we're going to tape our fist up one time and one time only. Put your car in short-term parking because it ain't going to take me a long time to knock you out.
Final match going to be no disqualification, no time. This is it, Jonathan.
What is this guy? Like, does he have a G.G. Allen gimmick? What's going on with this guy?
Loser leave town, sheep herders and the Fantastic.
This is where we separate the men from the boys. And we all know who the boys are, don't we? Even you call yourself a good old Southern boy. Well, we're men where we come from, men down under, and we're not leaving anywhere, I'm guarantee you that. We're here to stay, and I'll tell you why we're not leaving. We see Billy Dundee run people off left, right, and center, and his pockets are getting fat, full of Yankee bloody money. And
Great outlaw wrestler Dutch. Yeah, I really do. I really like him. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, like early in-ring stuff, but I'm starting to catch up a little bit. And I always thought like the Zeb Coulter shit in WWE was really funny.
I want that Yankee money. I'm not outside the ring to watch my men lose. I'm outside the ring just in case you turn your back. Because if you turn your back on me, your hat's gonna belong to me and the rest of your body. You leave.
Your hat's gonna belong to him. Is he wrestling World of T-Shirts? Why is an Australian man threatening to take my hat? I'll sue you.
Even Fantastics, bye, yo.
That was a pretty good interview.
Oh, yeah! Fantastic! Bobby Bolden, Tommy Rogers.
no guardrail, nothing between nothing between you and the ring.
Match.
Dallas, Texas, Hollywood.
Comes Tony Falk and Pat Rose, the opposition.
Take me downtown.
I have something to say right now. You know, I'm sick and tired of being called a loser.
Oh my God! What? Get this guy out of here! Haven't we had enough of him?
Tired of losing. You know, I've been training real hard lately in the gym and in the
Classic white meat baby faces. Yep, they're the Fantastics. I think the technical term for somebody like the Fantastics or the Rock and Roll Express or the Rockers, I think they called them in the industry blowjobs. They were the people that brought in the women.
ring, and I know, I've been looking at a lot of films, and I know we can beat the Fantastics right here today, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to beat the Fantastics. Pat Rose and I will win this match today, so you people just sit back and get ready, because you're going to see Tony Falk win his first match on TV.
Well, okay, Tony, that's a positive attitude, but I just got to tell you, you got a big hill to climb. These guys have been going very well.
This is going to be one fall, 15-minute time limit. Introducing at a total of 455 pounds from St. Louis, Missouri.
And, like, I know this looks really podunk, like the ring setup and everything like that, but, like, the Fantastics were a huge tag team. Like, they wrestled a lot of places. They were, like, a really, really big names. Huge. They were up there as well with the Rock and Roll Express and Bill Dundee as far as, like, their ring rat abilities.
The red robe, that is Tony Falk. His partner from Pensacola, Florida, Pat Rose. And going against him at a total weight of 449 pounds. From the city of...
Yeah, I'm really sure that Tony Falk and Pat Rose are going to beat the Fantastics.
Angels, Los Angeles, California. Bobby Fulton, Tommy Rogers, the Fantastic. One fall, 15-minute time limit. The referee is Jerry Calhoun. Let's see. Looks like Pat Rose going to start for the team of Rose and Falk over here.
Starting out with their number one gun on this side of the ring. Tommy Rogers, Bobby Fulton choose Rogers to go. And it's Rose and Rogers as an opener, Davey.
Should be a good match. Tommy Rogers. Whoa. Pat Rose slipped around behind him, took him down to the mat. Look at Tommy Rogers move. One thing you'll notice about the Fantastics, if you haven't already, they are fast. Good, quick moves. Pat Rose over to the rope. Hooks the right arm over the bottom rope. Referee's right there, calls for a break, and Tommy Rogers backs away. Rose, stocky wrestler, outweighs Tommy Rogers. Both of them going with the ropes, getting the momentum. Rose lets Rogers go by. Rose goes by again. Oh, Pat Rose got him with a right hand. He put that fist right on Rogers' chin. Pat Rose climbing the ropes. He's up on the top.
High-risk maneuver.
When the referee is warning him. He jumps down into the
Thought better of it.
ring and then goes after Tommy Rogers again with a right fist. Got him up in the air. A body slam by Rose. Pat Rose so far has things going his way. Well, he figures it worked.
In California, growing up, all you saw was WWE, but Southern other companies have their own style. This looks pretty flashy for a non-WWF event, all glammed up 80s. Yeah, I love that about the territory days, that like literally every territory had its own like personality. Even if they used the same wrestlers, like sometimes, like it was just a completely different vibe.
The first time.
Look, now he's going up again. What a fool.
Try it again. He's climbing the ropes. Tommy Rogers over, grabs him.
Went to the well once too often.
While he's in the air, and just throws him out into the middle of the ring. Pat Rose bounces half.
What happened there? That couldn't have been the intent. Did Tommy Rogers not get over to the corner in time or something?
Way across the ring. Tommy, good heads up wrestling there. Tags Bobby Fulton. Bobby lands on the left arm, and Pat Rose has been slowed somewhat anyway. 1 minute, 40 seconds into the action. Little hair pulling by Pat Rose. Fulton off the rope, shoulder butt, nice one. Rose sets, rolls Fulton to the mat. He's going to drop at the elbow, but Fulton, it moves. Nice takedown.
That actually looked that looked like it had a lot of velocity to it. He jumped up into it and dude like threw him over perfect. That looked really good.
Pat Rose.
If you can't appreciate a good arm drag, I mean, come on.
Over to the corner, the tag on Tommy Rogers. This is the way the match started. Tommy Rogers against Pat Rose. So far, we have yet to see Pat Rose's partner, Tony Falk, in the match. There's the tag, and here comes Tony Falk. Falk out of St. Louis, greeted by Tommy Rogers as he sent him flying through the air. Tommy holds him there. Bobby Fulton lands on that left arm. Falk makes
Top rope when you were a kid was ECW, the Macho Man. Yeah, you really didn't see a whole. If you saw somebody go up to the top rope, like it was a pretty big deal. Unless it was Ric Flair, because you knew he was going to get thrown off.
Making the prediction before the match that he's going to get his first television victory here with his partner Pat Rose today. Down behind him, it's Fulton. Rose going to drop him to the mat. Falk hung onto the rope. Bobby Fulton. Not outsmarted at all. He just kept his balance and kept Mr. Falk on the mat. Corner, the tag. Tommy Rogers spins him around, grabs the arm, and takes Tony Falk down to the mat.
And what's cool about the territory days too is that, like, as we continue to watch these episodes, these people will cycle out, and not like after 3 years like in WWF or WWE or AEW, but like months. Some people will come in for like a week and then you don't see them again for another year or for months. Like, there's a constant exchange of talent. There's a constant like influx of different bookers. So like the show is constantly like changing and evolving. Whereas now on WWE, you get the same people like every time. And I'm not knocking it. I mean, they can still tell some good stories, but like, it's just not the same as having like fresh guys in almost weekly. Like, not up in the big storylines, but it just felt like different because like every couple of months or every few months, like it was like a completely different lineup of people and new storylines.
3 minutes gone.
Yeah, you gotta isolate a body part and work on it. That's what Gorilla Monsoon always said.
Fantastics. Looking good here. Tommy Rogers in the...
He'd be like, Brain, Tony Falk, well known for his sleeper hold, but that will be quite ineffective as the Fantastics have isolated that arm, and he'll be unable to get a proper enough grip to shut off circulation to the upper occipital protuberance, or whatever the shit he used to say.
Ring. Bobby Fulton out on the apron. Air pulling by Falk. Rogers pulled into the corner. Right fist.
The external occipital protuberance, I think is what he used to say.
Tony Falk reversed into the turnbuckles. Tommy Rogers flips it out of there. Falk says, had enough. Timeout.
And Bobby Heenan would be, what does all that mean? And he'd be like, it means good night. Good night. It means good night, Irene.
Falk did not go for the tag. He stays in there against Tommy Rogers. Fantastics tagging out quickly, keeping the fresh man in the ring. Hair pulling again by Tony Falk, but he gets him over to the corner, and the tag on Pat Rose. Rose back in to battle Fulton. Rose drops with the upper arm.
All the humanoids.
Fast and furious here. Pat Rose whips Fulton into the turnbuckles and then clotheslines him as he bounced out of the corner. Covered by Rose. Counts at 1, 2. 2 counts all he gets. Body slam. Pat Rose through the corner on the middle rope. Ooh. Right fist across the side of the face. Count is at 1. 1 count is, well, a 2 count fell. Technically, I think that shoulder was up before the 2 count was on the mat, though. Doesn't really matter. The important thing is it wasn't a 3 count. Bobby Fulton being choked from behind. Tony Falk will be coming in after the tag. Tommy Rogers trying to get in and keep that.
Classic mistake by Tommy Rogers. If he comes into the ring, the referee's first priority obviously is going to be to get him out of the ring, which is going to allow his opponents to perform a double team. They really got to get their shit together here.
Even that double team over in the corner against the Fantastics. That's about the 3rd time that's happened today. Tony Falk fires Bobby Fulton into the ropes. Got him with the upper arm. Whoa, Fulton.
What the? Well, I don't even know what that was. I don't even understand the physics involved in that.
He saw him coming and got him with his foot. Falk using that fist again. The referee is there, calling for a break. He got a quick break. That was enough. Stop it. Reverse neck breaker by Tony Falk. Fulton.
That was a honky tonks finish to shake, rattle, and roll.
In some trouble right now. Clothesline by Falk. Falk goes for the pin. Count is 1, 2. 2's all he gets. Could not get the 3 count. Falk's upset with himself for not being able to get the 3 count. Or I don't know if he's upset with himself. He's upset because he was thinking he did, in fact, have his first TV victory under his belt here. But the action continues. Pat Rose comes in after the tag. Fulton unable to get to the corner to make the tag on Tommy Rogers. Tommy was complaining to the referee that Bobby was hit in the throat with the point of the fingers by Pat Rose. Suplex. He stood him straight up in the air. There's a cover by Pat Rose.
They're letting the Fantastics get beat up real bad so that the ring rats will feel bad and pay for their meal after the matches are over. I'll try to find, there's a New Jack video, I'll try to find sometime and we can watch it, where he breaks down like how the ring rat system works. It's pretty interesting.
Bobby Fulton hooks him down. Count is 1, but he can't make it stick either as Pat Rose broke out of it. He had him down in a small package, but couldn't keep him there. We're coming up on the 7-minute mark. 7 minutes gone in this match. Bobby Fulton, Pat Rose exchanging right hands. Rose with a tag.
New Jack's another guy that's kind of like has an aura, kind of like I was talking about Scott Steiner, but for completely different reasons. Like I've met New Jack before and I've seen him wrestle at like a bunch of indie shows and he was always super nice, like in person. But when he's in the ring, like he just has an aura that like, it just changes the vibe. Like it feels really hectic and really like chaotic.
Here's Tony Falk.
Especially since like at that point in his career, he started doing some really wild stuff, like bringing a giant like sword covered in spikes and like other blades and like weird weapons that look like something out of the Predator. Like, and he would bring these crazy knives down to the ring.
Falk reverses Fulton. Fulton with a knee lift coming off the ropes.
I love seeing New Jack wrestle though because it just immediately just turns into total chaos. And he always bring like a shopping cart full of gimmicks down with him.
Tommy Rogers reaching for the tag. Bobby Fulton gets the tag. And here he comes. Drop kick over the ropes. What a move.
I think my favorite New Jack story is that I don't remember what event it was at, but there was a death match on the card. And I think it was either Fans Bring the Weapons or it was like there was some stuff left over from a previous show, Fans Bring the Weapons, and so they were just going to use those. But somebody had put like a bunch of thumbtacks on top, glued a bunch of thumbtacks onto a DVD player, and New Jack saw the DVD player and he just took the DVD player like for himself. Like he took it home instead of smashing it over somebody's head.
Tommy Rogers going after both of them now. Fulton has Tony Falk in the corner. Tommy Rogers has Pat Rose. Fantastics run them together in the middle of the ring. They kind of do the do-si-do, and Tony Falk on the mat. Tommy Rogers up on the middle rope. Bobby Fulton holding Falk. The Rogers Rocket. Count of three, got it. Fantastic. In 7 minutes, 55 seconds, have themselves another win. Tony Falk and his partner Pat Rose have themselves another loss.
They call that the Rogers Rocket as he comes flying off that second rope. And I mean,
The Rogers Rocket.
out there and splashed him but good. Excellent win for the Fantastics. Bobby, congratulations on a good one, partner. Oh, man, I'll tell you. You really got at it, and when you had to, fired it down and got to 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Ed, have you ever seen the match where New Jack wrestles, what's that really old guy? Gypsy Joe. That is a crazy match. I thought he was going to kill him.
We're going to give you a chance to kind of catch your breath here because that was a tough match you had going there. And I do want to remind you about everybody about the fantastic date with the Fantastics. And we talked about it for the first time last week. And by golly, I'll tell you what, we really appreciate the response everybody sent in, Bobby.
Yes, sir, Mr. Russell. I understand Young and Associates received 400 letters already. So let me say this right now. 2 girls have got a chance, just not one. And we want everybody to send in their little essay because we're so excited about this date thing. Me and Tommy just can't wait for it.
Let me review the rules one more time. It's
I'm sure it's up. I think I actually saw it on YouTube, so I'm sure it's on here. But it's one of those things where like everything turns real all of a sudden. It's really, I don't know if there ended up being any charges filed or not, but I think there could have been.
Eligible for any of the ladies who are 18 and older and single out there to send in why I would like a date with the Fantastics in 100 words or less. Send a picture in accompanying your little dissertation in there of why I would like a date with the Fantastics, and send it to Fantastic Date with the Fantastics, WMC TV, 1960 Union Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, 38104. And be certain that you put on the envelope with the address, put Fantastics Date so that it will not get mixed up with other mail and delayed and not being considered and so forth. So far, it has been going very, very well, very impressive as a matter of fact, particularly since Buddy Landell came out here and did his.
Every time you mention that name, Lance, seems like every time you mention that name, he comes walking out here. What is this? Is this the Buddy Landell hour? You know, Lance Russell, I'm getting sick and tired of every time that I take out of my busy schedule to come out here and show my pretty face on TV. These 2 punks come out here trying to take my TV time up.
These 2 punks.
Look at them. You can see why the women around the area are starved for the sight of a real man. They're huffing and puffing. Boys,
they just finished a tough match,
hey,
buddy.
Whatever. You can make excuses up for them, Lance Russell, if you want to, okay? The bottom line is they're sitting here with their tongues hanging out their mouth. Don't worry, I'm used to it. All the girls do it, so you go right ahead, Tommy and Bobby, okay? But the bottom line, hey, you keep on running your mouth, and I'm going to knock your teeth out, and you're going to be sucking soup for about 6 weeks in the hospital. Lance Russell, hey, the bottom line is, Lance Russell, tell them how the Nature Boy is blowing them away and they win a date with the Nature Boy contest, okay?
Well, buddy, you're the one that brought it up, but out of the little better than 400 letters that have come in, the Fantastics have a slight edge. As a matter of fact, you have only gotten 2 responses.
Oh, no. I see where this is going. Oh, boy. I don't know if it's something that'll be revealed on the TV show, who wins or whatever, but you know they're going to stick Buddy Landell with, like, not a, with someone that he would not want to be on a date with.
For the date with Buddy Landell. Hey, you asked. I wasn't saying anything about it. You're the one that brought it up.
You know, Lance Russell, I thought that you were a professional, okay? Now, obviously, this thing is being rigged, okay?
Oh, man, Buddy Landell trying to overturn the results of an election.
Now, there might be 300 or 400 sweat hogs out there
Yes. Wow.
that want them to babysit them. But I know there's some real women around the area that needs the nature boy, okay? Girls, we're talking about a 60-minute man in and outside the ring, okay? Now, I'm not going to come out here and pat myself on the back. I'm not going to come out here and talk about how good-looking I am or what kind of a great hell of a wrestler I am, because why come out here and waste precious TV time repeating the obvious, okay? But Lance Russell, that last week, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, okay? Obviously, you didn't put the Nature Boy Buddy Landell address up there, okay? Now, I want you to put it up there right now, and I'm not gonna be responsible when the place is bombarded. There
it is, buddy. Take a look. Now, I don't want to hear any conversation. There it is. Buddy Landell date, WMC TV 5, 1960 Union Avenue, Memphis 38104. But be sure and label it Buddy Landell date if you want to be in Buddy Landell's column.
All right, now the wheels are rolling, Lance Russell. Now we can get things settled. Just like I said, girls, I'm a 60-minute man in and outside the ring, if you know what I'm talking about, okay? If you can handle that, all right, Lance Russell?
Yeah, I hear it.
The bottom line is the women around the area starve for the sight of a real man, and that's why I brought it upon myself to come out here and show my pretty face on TV, okay?
Oh, that is charming, charming.
Mr. Russell, I think we've all learned one thing, buddy. You're not conceited. You're not conceited. You're convinced. What is this? Lance,
I mean, really, this is just pure wrestling to me. Completely ridiculous, over the top, personal issue driven, like testosterone soap opera, but like with, you've got all these colorful characters, and like you got Buddy Landell giving this like great, heel performance. Like this is just exactly what I think of, like when I think of like what kind of pro wrestling I want to watch. Like it's goofy, but it's like super entertaining, I think.
Okay, you girls want a date with them? I remember when you wanted to date the fabulous ones, and we made them look like bloody men. And now we're going to make these look like men. They got the titles, but I'm going to tell you something. They're not going to have them.
Oh man, they busted him open.
I promised Booba he'd be a champion, and he's going to be a champion. And I promise you, girls.
See if you can help these fellas. Man, that is sad. Sick is the word for it. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's take a break, and we'll be back with more change.
Can we get Dirty Rhodes to deliver some comments about what we've just witnessed?
Championship Wrestling in a moment.
Championship Wrestling coming that way. You put that down. February the 20th, Borden, Indiana. Wow, Wednesday night. You've heard about some of it. By golly, we got a great night of action coming in there. Mid-America title match with Nature Boy Buddy Landell. Barbed wire match with Dundee and Coco. Dutch Mantell and Rick Casey in a tape fist match. The Fantastics and the Sheep Herders in a no disqualification loser leave town.
I know AEW does blood pretty regularly, but like you very, very rarely see it anymore in WWE, so that's another thing from the territory era. A lot of the territories were heavy on blood. Memphis, super heavy on blood.
Let's hear a few words from Coco about that barbed wire match.
Well, you see a barbed wire fence. That's a
Yes. Coco, one of my all-time favorites.
dangerous match ever signed. And Dundee, I can't wait to get
Hey, how you doing, JF?
you in that barbed wire fence. Because you know what? You can't get out, Dundee. When it get real hot and heavy, you can't jump out of the ring and take 5. And you know what? Your punk's friends can't help you at all. They can't climb in the ring at all. Nobody but you and myself. So Dundee, you might as well get ready because you're going to take the...
You know what I realized when I was thinking about, I was saying earlier how I felt like the storyline jumped forward. I completely forgot that Memphis ran like weekly in some towns. So they might just be running through they might just be using the TV show to advertise the immediate show that week, whereas later on a lot of companies would like do like a not always 4, but like they would do a complete circle of the territory, kind of telling a story in that amount of time.
Beating of your life coming from the Birdman, and I can't wait to get you in the ring.
Yeah, they call it color. Yep.
Boy, I'll tell you what, if I were getting ready to wrestle against Buddy Landell and Dutch Mantell, I don't know whether I'd be as bubbling as Billy Travis is up there or not. He's that kind of a guy, though.
He is indeed. He's waiting for him, and here are the opponents stepping up onto the apron and into the ring right now for this one fall 15-minute time limit match. Introducing, at a total weight of 465 pounds, from Memphis, Tennessee, David Haskins.
But like Smoky Mountain would do a series of shows that led to like a big like a like big show in their biggest town. So I'm not familiar enough with Memphis to know, you know, to be able to piece together like maybe we might only be seeing the stuff aimed at Evansville, since this is from Evansville. I don't know. I thought they took the same tape to like every town kind of, but maybe not.
His partner now living in Lexington, Kentucky.
Is anyone taking any bets on how soon's Ben debate with Glenn Lawrence will devolve into throwing insults at each other in the chat before the debate starts? It's on the Crucible, right?
By golly, there goes Hamden, Connecticut.
That's right.
Yeah,
Lexington,
Billy's new home
Kentucky's
is Lexington, Kentucky.
Billy Travis, and going against...
Yeah, south to west, the debates tonight. I think this could be a very important debate, even though I think most people will kind of dismiss it because it's just Glenn Lawrence. But like they're in a position where they need to like make a splash here. They need to Ben needs to do something here that needs to kickstart the momentum. He needs to take the initiative and use this debate to get Thorpe TV back on track again, I think.
Him at a total weight of 453 pounds from Oil Trough.
Yeah, Billy Travis is back.
Off Texas, Dutch Mantell, and from Los Angeles, Buddy Landell, the Nature Boy. This match will be one fall, 15-minute time limit match. Jerry Calhoun, the referee, and we're underway with Dutch.
I mean, the Crucible is a pretty large channel, right? You got to take advantage of like your big showcases. Speaking of which, I still need to go back and watch Proncess debate Andrew Wilson.
Mantell going against Billy Travis.
They tie it up.
Lots of pressure on Ben. Yeah, I mean, I think he will. I mean, Glenn Lawrence is a terrible debater. I don't think Ben's going to have any issue. Any issue beating Glenn Lawrence. I just hope that you never know how Glenn Lawrence is going to take it, or if is it Andrew Wilson actually moderating it, or is there a different? I thought there was talk of people picking proxy people or something, or was that Ruby debating Grace? I can't remember.
Travis and Mantell, and a little mare down on Dutch. Dutch is out of it, right back on their feet.
Ben should open up and tell Glenn Lawrence that he wants to make it clear that he's not going to tolerate Glenn acting like a petulant child like he normally does, and interrupting people and talking over people, because Ben's not going to tolerate that. This is a serious debate, and if he's not here to talk about facts and back up everything he's saying, then he just needs to concede the debate and leave immediately.
Wearing off.
Boy, what a couple of competitors those two guys are, huh?
Yeah. Well, we mentioned before, there's a handful of hair, and he really snapped him off his feet.
Can you imagine the chat if Ben Thorpe said he was not going to tolerate people being talked over during the debate?
Travis, young as he is, one of his great assets is his aggressiveness. The son of a gun just doesn't seem to be afraid of anybody or anything. And he really...
You can almost guarantee the debate will not end. There is 0% chance of it ending amicably. No, it's already not amicable, and it hasn't even happened yet.
He's an aggressive wrestler, Buddy Landell.
Ben has to bring up the fact that he got Glenn Lawrence himself to admit that he was a loser. He needs to hammer that in there and make sure that that gets brought up. That was an absolute huge L for Glenn.
Trying to take a little of that aggression out of him, bears him down, but Travis kicks out right back up on his feet again.
Well, I think Landell was complaining he had his hair pulled or something. I don't know what all that discussion was.
If Ben is reclining during the debate, Glenn has no chance at all. I think it would be extremely hilarious if Ben used his typical laying down angle where his head looks really small and his body looks really big. But maybe for this debate, you want to be a little. I don't know. It's in how you approach it. Is Ben gonna kind of play it cool, like, this is no big deal. I debate all the time, so I'm gonna lay down camera angle, or is he gonna be like, I need to take this seriously and like have my suit on, and you know what I mean? It'll be interesting. That alone is reason enough to tune in for a while just to see how Ben's gonna approach from like an aesthetic perspective.
In the ring, but there was some.
Like, if you didn't know who he was and you tuned in to the debate and he was doing that thing where he lays down, like, you would be like, what the fuck is going on?
Excellent fireman's carry throw from Landell.
You think he needs to be in the RV bed? I'll lose it, man, if he's laying down in the RV bed. But he is more powerful as a debater while reclining, so it's a tough call.
Because sometimes we don't have an agreement about how you should wrestle, and they may think you can break the rules, and that's fine, and we don't think that. That doesn't mean we don't recognize the fact that they can wrestle, a lot of these guys, and that's true with Landell and certainly Mantell. We've said that on a jillion occasions.
Here's another advantage, which you guys might know more about this than me, but are there any kind of like rules as far as like, there's going to be this amount of time for opening comments, and then we're going to do so many topics, so many like questions about the topic, and then we're going to do a final whatever? Or is it just kind of like a blood sport thing? Because if it goes a long time, Ben will have a definite advantage, because if he's already laying down, he also urinates while reclining. So Glenn will really be hard pressed to keep up, because Ben will just be able to use his piss jug during the debate. And that could prove to be a real key advantage in this matchup.
They can wrestle. Too bad they don't stick to wrestling.
That's true. If they would do that, they'd have no problem, right?
That's right. No problem, certainly, with our commentary about it. But there, he grabs the hair, he jabs him right in the eyes. Mantell doesn't need that. He is a top-flight wrestler. So's Buddy Landell. Look at Haskins battling his way back. Takes a shot with the arm, knee to the midsection. David trying to wheel away at that midsection.
This is why the Crucible needs a color commentator. People would be much more invested in these debates if people would take time to make like video package lead-ins, have the people involved cut promos on each other. Like, even if it is just just a one-time debate, whatever, like being on the Crucible is it sounds like it's a pretty big deal if you're a debater. So you think you'd like want to get like a big promo going, but it just kind of like crept up there.
Section is snap-mared over the shoulder. Tag on Dutch Mantell. Whoa, the pace is picking up, Dave.
Oh, it is. Dutch Mantell right back in there to work on Haskins.
Like, get people to care, even though it's a debate. Like, there's still big personalities in the panel verse that could give good interviews about how they're going to like win the debate. It's pretty simple. Just do like a simple little threat or something against somebody. You think there's an intro and then it's a bit of free-for-all, but Andrew will try to guide. There'll be ending statements. Well, maybe the piss jug will come in, will factor in. I was hoping Grid 1 was the moderator. Oh shit! Do you think Grid 1 will do We'll do some like erotic anime art of Ben debating Glenn Lawrence.
Whoa, good move.
Travis and Hot Properties is back in there. Whoa! The Dutchman nails him with a forearm. Tags the Nature Boy, and back in again is Landell.
You can't imagine Andrew views this debate as anything more than a circus act. Exactly. Like, that's why I think it should be treated like one. Like, don't you? I mean, this is, you know how in Japan they would have like the serious MMA cards, but there'd be like a match on there that was just like completely out of left field. Like, you know, they'd bring in Butterbean to take on Rulon Gardner, the old Olympic wrestler. There'd be some like, almost like a spectacle match, something that maybe wasn't going to be like the best fight, but would be like really entertaining. They should like play that shit up.
Slugging away, and I use the word to describe exactly what is happening.
I'm gonna talk to Ben, and I'm gonna talk to Princess, and I'm gonna book and promote a Ben versus Princess debate, and I'm gonna handle the booking of it, so it's gonna be good.
Billy Travis right upside the head. Whoop! Look at that Landell go. Hip toss, and over the top goes Billy Travis. Dutch catches Travis.
I say that, and then I get all excited, and I start mentally planning, and then they're both gonna say no. But I think it could be really fun, and it would be a good like it would be an interesting interaction. Princess and Ben debating, I think, would be fun, and I think they could both promote it a little bit. And Princess has got a channel he's trying to get monetized, so that get him a little bit of heat.
With an elbow, makes it cover 1, 2, and Travis gets out at the count of 2.
Princess is still a Thorpeter to an extent. I think he still hangs around. So I would say kind of, yeah, but I think it's much more reduced now than it was.
David Haskins trying to get a little crowd.
Like, it's easy, right? Don't you think it would be entertaining to see Ben debate Princess over, like, even something simple like why, you know, Ben could talk about why Trump is going to be good. Princess could talk about why Trump could take, like, the Trump's going to be bad. Even a real simple debate like that, if you get an interesting matchup together, and I think that's an interesting matchup. But I'm also really, really high, and my edible has kicked in. But I'm standing on business. I think that debate could work.
Support, and he's getting it for Billy Travis in there.
Yes, he's a frenemy. I think it's more like, I think he has more, I always saw him as a Grace loyalist, but I think actually he's more of like an Ava loyalist. That would be content. I think so too. Ben would flame him. It's pretty easy content. I think it's content people would watch, and then I think it benefits Princess, it benefits Ben. But Princess has to be reclining. It has to be both people. Everyone on my debate show has to be laying down.
Whoa! Travis blocked a right fist that Mantell was throwing.
And it would be on their channels, so like they would get all the. I would just book it, so then they'd keep all of the like exposure and revenue and whatnot.
Mantell just drives him back into the ropes, tags Buddy Landell, and the Nature Boy comes in throwing a right fist too.
Dutch made a pretty good tackle as he drove that shoulder into the body and hooked him and drove him right into the turnbuckles. Landell takes over.
Hey, how you doing, Armand? The mask came off Princess once he milked all the possible clout from the Thorpes. Did you see when he like kind of called in and started really, I can't remember, was it on Grace's show? He called in and was yelling at somebody about somebody got put backstage. He came on to like argue with Hurricane Pero maybe or something, but he had like a big I'd never seen him so angry. That's why I think the debate, that's what made me honestly think like, okay, Process could be like an interesting debate character because I had just never seen him like get really mad and like flip out like that.
Pops him down on the floor.
Landell and Mantell both making liberal use of the fist here today. 3 minutes, 45 seconds into the action. One fall only, 15 minutes the overall time limit. Southern Heavyweight Championship match still to come today.
A couple of parting shots from Landell as he had tagged out.
Okay, and I'm sold on Hurricane. What a shit that would. You just ruined the debate, but absolutely sent the Keno through the roof. I mean, that would be Hurricane Paro as a moderator. He would just talk the entire time. I think it would be really funny. Oh man, when my ultimate concept of having Ben and Grace debate Mr. Based and World of T-Shirts kind of puts me into that like mindset of just wanting to see interesting people rather than like worrying about whether it's a good technical debate, of just picking people that are like interesting matchups that will like have interesting conflict.
To Dutch and Travis.
Hey, listen, Ben, I hear what you're saying, man, but we can't talk about that right now. Ruby, can you please unblock me? Ruby, I donated to you. You sided with my ops. Yeah, Princess, I'll get to you, but listen, first I've got to talk about dicks.
Needs to turn it around right here. Because I'll tell you what, Mantell and the Nature Boy are flat getting it on. And Travis down on the deck. Look at that. Nature Boy chin locks him, snaps him down with kind of a reverse face lock. Landell out here moaning.
What? You love his shitty nicknames? He called Lalo Fruitlo? Fruitlo? I think what really brings the bad nicknames home is that, like, the enthusiasm for it, right? It's always like, yeah, take that, talk a lot, Coley. And he's like, mic drop. Oh, gee, EDF, yes, would you not see? I'm not joking at all. I'm not kidding. I think that Grace and Ben should get that going. People would watch EFD debate Nikki New, I think. I mean, would you miss that? There's no way I would miss that.
About the Fantastic. I think he was a little chagrined that he only got 2 votes in the date with Buddy Landell as opposed to the 400 that the Fantastics got.
What? Armand, are you fucking with me? He called her Ruby Space Cube. Oh my gosh. That is insanity. Ruby Space Cube?
Billy Travis.
Hey, listen, Ruby Space Cube.
Back up on his feet. He would like very much to get a tag on David Haskins, but boy, he's a long way away, all the way across the ring. Here's Mantell. Knee lift to the midsection. Power slam.
Ruby, like, to think that he said it when he was mad too. Like, oh my gosh, like that's such a cutting insult. Ruby Space Cube. If I ever review another Ruby video, I'm gonna put that as the title, like getting high and watching Ruby Space Cube.
He almost had it. He had a good 2 count there before Travis kicked out.
I'm actually really liking it. The more that I say it, the more it's like it's kind of winning me over.
There's that tag on Haskins. David comes in. He's fresh and ready to get it on. Firing away. Snapped the Dutchman into a side headlock. Gets thrown off. Puts a shoulder in. Oh, boy. Dutch really caught him unawares. What a whale of a match we've got.
Okay, how about if I get Ruby Space Cake? Space Cake is actually kind of that's kind of hot sounding, Space Cake. How about if I get Hurricane Paro to be the moderator, but I pick the nicknames he has for the people that are participating in the chat? And we'll just make them the absolute cheesiest, worst nicknames we can think of, and then he has to use them throughout the debate.
Going. Haskins jerked back down on the mat. The Nature Boy rattled his cage with that big elbow. Going for the figure 4 leg lock. His trademark, Landell. That's going to be it. Nobody's fool. David Haskins says another day, but not today, and he succumbs to that figure 4 leg lock. The winners will be Dutch Mantell, Buddy Landell.
And the time, 5 minutes, 56 seconds.
If you wouldn't tune in for a Ben Thorpe versus Proncess debate about Donald Trump, moderated by Hurricane Paro, like what else? What else could you possibly want? The photo really triggers him too. We can have Ben show it on camera. Oh, nice. Showing my photo, doxing me, not so Thinjamin. Thanks, man.
And the referee finally unpiles him and gets him off of it as Mantell and Landell raise their arms. Travis over to help out his partner. Boy, we'll be looking for more of that action later on. They win it. Mantell and Landell will be back in a moment.
He really is, though, legitimately way more interesting and entertaining than I think he has like any right to be as a character in the Thorpeverse. Like, anytime he calls in, it's gonna go off the rails, and like he's gonna say some crazy shit. So I guess you got to give him some Keno points.
All right, that's Keith Eric, and there comes Dirty Rhodes.
Oh my God, look at Dirty Rhodes.
Stepping up on the ring apron right there. This is going to be a 1-fall 15-minute time limit match from Memphis, Tennessee at 206 pounds on the left, Keith Eric. And going against him from Austin, Texas, 301 pounds, Dirty Rhodes. This match will be 1-fall 15-minute time limit. Jerry Calhoun is the referee.
You get excited when he comes on? Yeah, I mean, he's entertaining. There are times when I'm like, okay, I wish he would go into the background a little bit. But I think overall, he's always content. But there's one person, though. One person above all else is always content. And I notice now, anytime he's in any like clip or whatever, like it always gets way more views than my usual clips. And that's Dalmatian Dog. He's reached like Brock Lesnar status in the Thorpeverse, where he's appearing less and less, but every time he appears, like it's like this big moment, and like it's going to be Keno, and like him talking to Cabana Man Dan was just completely hilarious with his like extra deep voice.
We will do that. We will ring the bell as Dirty will be getting off and running against Keith. Dirty will be a heavy favorite in this match.
In more ways than one.
Oh, yes. Boy, he is got some size, doesn't he?
He does. He's weighs in now at over 300 pounds. Last time we saw him in the territory here, he was down around, 265, 267.
Mere shadow of himself.
Mere shadow, yes. But now over 300 pounds, and proud of it. Dirty Rhodes. Keith Eric on his shoulder. He just slams him down to the mat. Almost a 100-pound.
Do you think as part of the build up to the Ben versus Proncess debate? Because I mean, we're talking about building it not long term, but like you'd have to put a little bit of time into building up the atmosphere. But do you think that Proncess should do like a montage where he's like doing sit-ups and he's like reading books on political theory and stuff like that? Do we need like a Rocky montage for Proncess, since he's clearly coming in as like the underdog in the match? D-Dog knows. Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, Dalmatian is just somebody that even if he's like sometimes he does like kind of malfunction and then he just says like really out of pocket stuff, but even then it's really funny and it's it's really entertaining. But I don't ever remember like a boring Dalmatian stream, and he grew on me because I hated him at first, like during the Lonely Girl things when he would, well, but also during those streams he was on there for like hours and hours and hours, and it was my first exposure to him, and I was like, I yeah, I think you're right. I think it is partially real, but I think it's like it's also like him playing into some stuff. But he grew on me over time, but like I think now he's like easily one of the best like pop in guest stars.
Weight advantage.
He just absolutely just like annihilated Grace when he called in on the last time he called in, and like ran down called her, said she was racist and a thief, and then he was like, I don't even know her. I barely know her.
For Dirty Rhodes, favorite going in here.
Princess should do a training montage. Spicoli could play his old Jewish trainer. I mean, wouldn't that be a big W for Princess as a liberal? Like, you have a chance to take down Ben Thorpe. Like, that would be a big win for Princess. Lonely Girl Hours was great. Chat completely roasted Grace when she was asleep, and he read it all out. Yeah, but that was also like I was super early into like catching up on Grace at that time too. So like I was still I didn't have nearly all the pieces I needed to know what the hell was going on most of the time.
He living up to the role as he buries that great big elbow right on top of the head of Keith Eric, drops him down on the deck, slips in behind, just masses him down there. He just put his size on top of him and drove him into the mat. Has him covered up. He's not really looking for a pin. He's trying to take some of the fight out of Keith Eric to get him in a position to pin. Leg on the rope, and that puts Keith Eric back on his feet again after a 1 count.
Keith Eric going to have to figure out some way to get Dirty Rhodes first off his feet and then hold those shoulders down for a 3 count if he has any hope of taking this one. Again, Keith Eric on the mat, not in a pin position though. Dirty Rhodes wrapping that left arm, got a little twist up.
I can't believe this guy, that this is real, first of all, that there's this completely knockoff Dusty Rhodes, but then that he's booked regularly on television.
On it, backs Keith to the ropes.
Ooh. We were in a position, Dave, from our angle, perfect angle as he popped that upper on him. He says, bye-bye. And by golly, he was right. I'll tell you that for a fact.
Minute 50 seconds, 150. Dirty Rhodes getting the win.
Dirty had it his way all the way, and he'll do that most of the time he's in the ring. Keith
Dirty had it his way all the way.
Eric finding out much too much experience, much too much size. The winner, Dirty Rhodes. Back in a moment.
How do I think the Thorpe saga will unfold? Do I think Grace and Ben will ever separate, or do I think they will grow old together? Gosh, I mean, who knows? That's the main thing. We were talking earlier about like longevity and streaming, and how like I think their style of streaming takes a toll on them. But like that's going to be the main factor for a lot of stuff, I think, is just they're going to be so like, is how long can you keep this up? Like, I don't know how much money they need to live or whatever, but if your donos are down, you can get through that for a while probably, but like, can they make it through a year of like low donos? Like, at a certain point, if you can't do that, like they'll have to make some kind of decisions. I mean, it doesn't mean they have to stop streaming necessarily, but like there'd probably have to be some kind of lifestyle change. Whether I think they'll separate in terms of like they won't be living together in an RV, but do I think that like Ben and Grace are ever going to be like estranged? Probably not.
Yeah, just sitting here looking. We got a hair against the mask with no disqualification.
I do think at some point Grace will kind of, go on her own path and, and have a life of her own. I really do. Like, I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow or whatever, but I don't see this same story unfolding for the next, 40 years.
Mid-America title match. We've got a tape fist match, a barbed wire match, a loser leave.
They need to get out of the hotels. The content's mind-numbing. It's so heavy. And like it's different if it's just that every once in a while, but I feel like the hotel streams are like really heavy.
Town with the Fantastics and the Sheepherders. Wow. Tape fist match, Dutch Mantell, Rick Casey, mean kind of match, Rick.
That's right, Dutch Mantell. We've been all over this place. We've had all kind of matches, Daddy. But the last time we were in Evansville, you cost me something that I worked very hard for, and that's that international belt. I had you beat there the last time, Mantell. I had you beat. And you hit me with something, and I know it wasn't just a fist, because it turned my lights out, brother. Now this time we're coming.
I really liked the stream where she went back to the apartment. That had pretty much everything I want out of a Grace stream. Like there was a drive, there was karaoke, there was like a taking us around the apartment and like, showing all the items, talking about the move. Then she had, Dalmatian and Dan and all them on. I just thought that was that was one of the best episodes I think in a while. I really, really liked it.
Back, Lance, and we're both going to be taped up. We're going to equal the odds, Mantell. I'm going to have tape on my fist, and you're going to have tape.
I think that was the stream where it had like the POV taking the garbage out. That was kind of funny too.
On yours, if you ever been.
And Grace kept making all those like lewd noises. I can't remember who she was in who was on panel, Dan maybe, and somebody else, but she kept making all those weird noises while she was carrying the garbage around.
And hit with a pair of brass knuckles, then you'll know what kind of match this is. This is a very brutal match, Lance, and in Evansville, Indiana.
They need to get the divorce over with and get Courtney back in the streams. Absolutely.
Indiana, Dutch Mantell, I know I can beat you, and I'm going to show you right there in Evansville, Indiana.
That's what it's all.
Imagine whoever it is. I'm not saying it has to be Ben and Grace, but like whoever it is. Imagine if somebody put up like, whatever you call those things where you put up the, and it shows you that there's a pending stream coming. Imagine if somebody put up a pending stream that Courtney was going to be live on there. Like, I think a bunch of people would turn out for that. It was a no Ben episode. That's very true. Grace has been delivering great content lately. I feel like I always kind of, even in a bad stream, I'm still entertained more or less, but the hotel streams don't really have any kind of or at least most of them don't have any kind of a break in the flow. So like it's just one constant thing, whereas like the stream I was just talking about, even if you're not a fan of the driving or the karaoke or the apartment tour, like by the time you would get frustrated with it, it's over and we're on to the next, like we're on to a different segment. So the hotel streams, it feels like you have to really love struggle sessions because there's really nothing else there.
All about Wednesday night. Boy, you talking about being about. This is it. Loser leave town, no disqualification, Sheepherders, and these Fantastics in the ring.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Russell. After we stayed in the middle of that ring and sang Waltzing Matilda, brother, like we are men of our words, and we did that, Jonathan Boyd, and then you came out there and hit us in the head with the chairs. What do you take us for, a couple idiots? Well, this time, brother, it's going to be all over. Like I said before, we're here to stay and not to play, and that's exactly what we're going to do with you Sheepherders. No disqualification. Loser leave town, brother. Let's fire it up.
You didn't see much of the apartment stream? Yeah, I think it's like I can't do it tomorrow, but I can do it next week for sure. I think it's like a 3.5 hour stream. I can make time for that. It's a really I'm trying to think of what else happened. Oh, there was like concern of running into Jacinda. That was kind of funny too. But yeah, I definitely would review it. And also, I don't really have a choice because Grace has most of the archive privated. So, like, I only have access to, like, I think everything since her birthday parties, all that's up.
up, Evansville, fired up. God bless America. The Fantastics are coming. Boy, beat us like a dog. Anything you want. Because, Tommy, I got one thing to say, brother. We're going to fire it up right there for the people of Evansville, Indiana, and we're going to promise you this. Sheep herders are going to be history after this night, brother.
That's right, Bobby. You know, Evansville, Indiana is not big enough for both of us. And sheep herders, you've...
Dude, Evansville, Indiana is losing so much tax revenue. They keep making everybody leave town. Every week, it's a new person has to leave town. But that's part of what I was talking about earlier with like the territories, how people would come in and leave constantly. Like you would always be getting fresh talent.
Done something to us that nobody's ever done before. You think you got somebody fired up? Well, you're...
Ben's been so exhausted lately. Hope he gets some rest. Well, he just got to get through tonight, and then he can take a big lie down.
Right, you do. You got the attention of both of us. Well, you're going to have the attention of the whole undivided.
Ben should also, as part of his opening statement on the show, say that if anyone is going to donate to criticize him, that they need to refer to him as Mr. Thorpe.
Attention right there in Evansville, and you're leaving.
Yeah, she did unprivate a bunch of, like, almost everything, I think, but Ruby said she was going to mass report. Sorry, during the Ruby thing, she said she was going to mass report and told her viewers to go mass flag, so Grace turned everything. She thought she was pretty sure that, like, nothing since her birthday was, like, would be at risk for a channel strike, but she privated everything else. She would probably make one unlisted if I asked her for a specific one, but like I'm so high I can't remember the names of like any of the streams or when they happened. So, but I think there's at least a couple streams that are up that I definitely would review. And I just want to say, like, unless it's like a doxing situation or a violent threat situation or, you know, a criminal situation, I really don't see the whole, like, let's mass report people, because, like, if someone gets taken down in this space, like, I hate to break it to people, but if Grace goes down, that means Ava is vulnerable, Ruby is vulnerable, everybody who makes content involving her is vulnerable, because they've got they have Thorpe content on their channel. And really, I mean, if YouTube human beings looked at a lot of the content, they would take it down. But I would just think you'd want to leave everybody alone, let people make the content that they want to make, and if you don't like it, just out of self-preservation, because I just don't understand the point of being like, I'm going to get into a mass report or a mass flag, and like, it doesn't make any sense to me. You should try to download everything from her channel when she unprivates it all again. I thought about it, but I just don't have I don't have the space on this PC. I have a couple streams that were, I don't know if they were deleted for copyright or what, but I have a couple of them that were not, like when she unprivated everything, I still couldn't find them, but I have them recorded. Need to get the Ben bathtub stream. Yeah, Ruby Space Cube keeps threatening everybody. What do I think about Ruby Stalker? Do I think he's dangerous? I don't know enough about it. I mean, he's certainly an eccentric guy, but aside from the little he chatted in here, and then I see him on Discord now and then, I really don't. I've got a 2.5 hour VC he did, and I haven't watched it or anything, but maybe that would shed some light on him, but I don't really know enough about him. Oh, you're wanting to make a complete archive of her, of the stuff? That would be really useful. Putting it like through YouTube, they'll take it away once she privates it. Like I had so many like clips that, because I do like I'll make notes during Grace's streams, but it'll show up as clips on her channel just so that I know where to go back, like timestamp or whatever. And anytime she private stuff, like it takes all my takes all those clips down. Getting burned on Vegan Patriot. I guess she's streaming. I just never catch her live, and then the streams are always deleted. I don't know if maybe she's streaming on Kick or Rumble or something, but I've had no new Vegan Patriot streams in like 2 weeks.
Look out for Dundee. Oh, we see his hand. He's got a chain.
In that regard, because she actually like reads out the chat, or she puts it up, like, you know, highlights it or whatever.
With more powder, throws it in his eyes. Rick Morton rolling around the ring. Dundee goes after him, picks him up, nails him with a right fist.
Ricky Morton, this guy here, the blonde-haired guy, one of the most over guys in the South during the territory days, like unbelievably over.
There he is, the superstar, Bill Dundee, stepping into the ring right now. He has the AWA Southern Heavyweight Championship belt around his waist, and it is on the line in this championship match. It is going to be a Southern title match right here. And young Tracy Smothers, his opponent. Tracy out of Springfield, Tennessee at 223 pounds, challenging for the belt held by the man from Australia at 214 pounds, the current holder of the AWA Southern Heavyweight title, Bill Dundee.
We were talking about aggression and confidence. This guy probably has more of both than anybody I know of. This Dundee absolutely is so cocky, he doesn't conceive that Tracy Smothers is even in the match. He just absolutely is so totally confident.
Oh, wow. Tracy Smothers kind of looking like Chris Benoit here a little bit.
Of what he can do. And I will have to say, one way or another, he has of recent done most of it.
Well, he has. He's got quite an impressive record recently, including capturing that belt to begin with and then defending it. Bill Dundee. Young Tracy Smothers. Tracy is a wrestler who's come a long way at a time, too. Fine young wrestler. There's Dundee's arm up behind him. Got it hammered up there. Bill Dundee down.
Yeah, he was such a great, like, old school heel, heat magnet. One of the last wrestlers to carry the Confederate flag everywhere.
On the mat. Now back on his feet, over to the ropes, leans through the ropes, and that means an auto.
He'd come down to the ring in his later days, like in the mid-2000s, late 2000s. He'd come down to the ring and the crowd would start chanting Tracy sucks, and then he'd get on the microphone and he'd tell them that, like, if he heard one more person say Tracy sucks, he dies. And then, of course, everybody would, like, be even louder. And he had this, like, he had a catchphrase, ultra mega mass homicide. So if, like, you really made him mad, then he would threaten to unleash ultra mega mass homicide.
Automatic break. Referee called for it. Tracy Smothers broke it.
Double leg, and Tracy is in jeopardy. Count of 1, 2, and he.
I want to see like Cody Rhodes come out and say that if anybody if he hears one person in the arena boo him, everybody dies.
Just barely got it out.
Bill working on the leg. Now he breaks that, calmly walks around over to the corner, strolling around the ring. Bill does not appear to be too concerned about about this match with Tracy Smothers.
Precisely living up to the reputation that preceded him when we said he didn't even consider Smothers to be in the match. Dundee, the giant killer.
Dundee in the headlock, in the head scissors. There is young Tracy Smothers. Hold is broken. Dundee wants a little applause from the crowd on his ability to get out of the hold there.
Oh, boy. How much mustard they say it would take to cover up that hot dog?
Yeah. I was going to say, I checked to see if this was the main event.
All right, Dundee warned about hair pulling, and referee stepped in between them. Tracy had his right fist doubled. Referee wanted to calm it down here before it gets out of hand.
Dundee around behind, hooked the finger in the trunks, took him down.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, JF. I'm running on like a taped together rig here. I'm honestly surprised it even lets me stream.
You know, I think he does some of that just as a matter of irritation and enhancing the reputation of what a bad dude he is. Because a lot of that stuff he doesn't have to do, Dave.
Oh, that's true. I think you probably got it right on the money there. Dundee runs Tracy right into the ropes. Now Dundee down on the floor.
I'm working on getting a better PC. If nothing else, I want to get one just so I can have the computing power to bring Spicoli on the show.
He's got a 10 count to get back in there. He's just taking his time. Yeah.
Going for a stroll. Referee at the 5 count. Oh, boy.
Helping the referee count. Oh, I don't know. Dundee better be careful. We've seen champions come in with this sort of attitude before, and they've walked out of here defeated. And the man that they were supposed to beat rather easily has ended up fulfilling the championship bookings. Dundee getting a little more serious now. Body slam on Tracy Smothers. Put a boot right in the side of his ear.
Tracy kicking out of it.
Maybe like in 50 years or something, I'll get a little bit of notoriety from people when I was like the last person to stream in SD.
Go out of the ring, through the ropes, down to the floor. Tracy Smothers, there he is on the floor. Dundee just grabbed him and threw him out of there. Tracy, there he comes back to the ring apron. Dundee grabs him before he's through the ropes. Snaps his neck, and Tracy again hits the floor. Bill Dundee in control, and he knows it. Tracy having some difficulty this time. Now he struggles back up to the apron. Dundee comes over again. This time he hammers him with the upper arm. Dundee kicks him again down to the floor. Referee's trying to tell Dundee now, come on, let him in the ring. Tracy struggling back up. Now he is through the ropes into the ring and greeted by Dundee, who flips him down right in the center of the ring using the fist. There's a cover, 1, 2 counts, all he gets. Tracy able to kick out at the 2 count. We're coming up on 5.5 minutes gone in this one.
Back to the bone, baby. That's
AWA Southern Heavyweight Belt on the line.
The AWA Southern Heavyweight title, that doesn't sound very prestigious.
Dundee, victim of a forearm. A good one by Tracy
Oh, no way. Victim of a forearm?
Smothers.
Tracy Smothers, victim of a forearm.
Tracy caught the headbutt from Dundee, hammered back in there. Look at Billy go after him.
Dundee making him pay for that one, I think. Hey, reversal. Tracy Smothers ran.
Do you think it really had anything to do with the AWA, though, or do you think they just said that to, like, give it some more shine?
Dundee into the turnbuckles, and Dundee.
Because to my knowledge, did they run in the South? I know they ran in, like, they ran in the northern Midwest. They ran in Las Vegas, I think. They ran in Los Angeles at times. I don't know if they ever did, like, anything in the South.
Down on the floor. I think what Dundee's doing here is the equivalent of a basketball team calling timeout for the opponent to think about a foul shot.
Well, there are no timeouts in the world of professional wrestling.
He's just taking a little time, letting Tracy Smothers figure, well, okay, that was a good move for you, Tracy, but look out when I come back in there. And here he comes.
Tracy got his attention.
I'll make a note. I'll look it up, and then I'll try to remember to talk about it next week.
And that can either be looked at as good or bad. Billy right away takes that arm, drives him down in. Smothers rolls over and out and back up.
6.5 minutes gone.
AWA Southern Heavyweight title is on the line. Southern Heavyweight Championship match is on the line as Dundee stops to chit-chat with some of the folks out there. Referee Jerry Calhoun checking to see how the shoulder was. He wasn't in a position to see that right hand. We saw it perfectly. It was a closed fist, and he wrapped him hard. Stinging right hand. Dundee goes for the chokehold. Whoa!
That had some good sound on it.
Blisters him hard.
Babyface fire.
Slides out of the ring.
That's awesome. Wow. That dude's immortal. He's telling Bill Dundee to kiss his ass on TV.
Having a little conversation.
He's like, kiss my ass. He's like, hey, here, take my kid.
I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't either.
One of the fans getting a little enthusiastic. Shaking his child up there.
There's a man in the audience, Dave Brown, and he's shaking his child around.
Okay, Smothers reversed. Dundee caught him in the back. Whoa! He is down, center of the ring.
Wow, he almost put him completely over.
Smothers goes for the pin, but he didn't even get a good solid one count out of it. Dundee scrambled away. Smothers hopping into the corner. Dundee out. While the referee is talking to Smothers, he nailed him with a chain. He got him. We saw it.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, he definitely had a chain wrapped around his hand, threw it out of the ring. Dundee gets the win, though, in 8 minutes, 31 seconds.
8 minutes, 31 seconds, retaining the Southern Heavyweight title. He got stirred up when Tracy really started to get the better of him. Nailed him with that chain. The champion is still just that, the champion. We'll be back in a moment.
I wouldn't have minded. I think they should have shown that backdrop. He almost completely put him back up on his feet.
We just had an AWA Southern Heavyweight Championship match. I would editorialize and say that it was not won in a professional championship manner. At least that's my opinion. We could see it from over here. The referee was totally blinded to it when Dundee reached down these tights and grabbed that chain.
Well, and from past matches, Dundee has some practice using that chain and then getting rid of it. That's what he did. He hit Tracy Smothers with the chain he had wrapped around his fist, and then he fired it out of the ring and went sliding across the floor under a curtain.
Okay, Dave Brown. I feel like Dave is much better this episode. He kind of trailed off in the middle, maybe like the whatever, but the amphetamines have kicked in. He's back.
And then he retrieved it after the match was over. But Dundee does retain the AWA Southern Heavyweight title. Larry Hamilton made an impressive start today on Championship Wrestling, defeating the Invader. The Fantastics won their match over Tony Falk and Pat Rose. Tony Falk still winless. It was a good match. Falk still has not won one on television. Buddy Landell, Dutch Mantell defeating Billy Travis and David Haskins.
Another hard-fought match.
Yeah. What?
See, I like that too. It's a simple thing, and I get that like on modern TV, maybe people wouldn't see the benefit because you can rewind. But back in this day, unless you were like a person that had the privilege of having a VCR that you could record it on, if you missed the beginning of the show, you didn't know what happened. So now you've got Dave Brown running down like, you know, this is at the end of the show, like this is so you get your complete recap. Like I like that. I think it adds to like the idea that we're watching a sporting event rather than a circus, you know what I mean? It gives it a little bit of legitimacy, I think.
What a battle that was. And then Dirty Rhodes. But you're right. Dirty Rhodes defeats Keith Eric rather easily in a little under 2 minutes, and then Dundee does retain the title again.
That was a dandy. As a matter of fact, I liked it. We had a bunch of good action in there today, and that is nothing unusual. But we're certainly pleased when we do, in fact, have something we can sit here and really get into, boy, like the bouts that we had. We're going to do it again next week, as a matter of fact, right here, same place. We'll be looking for you. For Dave Brown, Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody.
Well, there you go. There's the January 25th episode. I do want to show you one more thing if I can find it. Give me just a second. Okay, hang on just a second. Okay, so we've talked about Buddy Landell and how he was always on the cusp of making it, but he something always happened. This is in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He's about to wrestle Shawn Michaels, like the Shawn Michaels, for the WWF Intercontinental title at a Smoky Mountain show. Huge match, right? One of the biggest matches of Buddy Landell's career. Like WWF is watching. This is like Jim Cornette giving this guy a gift and saying like, you know, buddy, I love you as a performer, so I'm going to give you this one last chance. So this huge match against Shawn Michaels. And Buddy Landell, this is his interview that he gives before the match, and I think it's his absolute best work, and I think it's maybe up there in like top maybe 20 promos of all time. But we've talked about it a lot, so I just wanted to, I'm not sure when I'll have a chance to, it'll be relevant again. So let's watch this amazing Buddy Landell promo. I mean, wow, right? Like absolutely amazing. I didn't even want to interrupt it. Like what an amazing promo. So like when I say Buddy Landell like is to me one of the best, like you can't beat that promo. And that was for Smoky Mountain Wrestling, a regional crowd, like a regional show, and like it truly was like that really honestly was his last chance at the big time, and he lost the match, and which of course that was predetermined, but it was hoped that the match would propel him, and unfortunately it didn't. But what an incredible promo. I mean, that's epic shit. Redneck soap opera, delivering the goods. All right, well that's it. That's my morning of wake and bake and old school wrestling. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I had a great time. I'm still trying to get into a groove of remembering that these storylines in Memphis are like resolving themselves much faster than I'm used to. So, but other than that, I'm really enjoying it. Well, I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to watch, but it's going to be something really, really weird because I have 3 or 4 things that I'm like really want to watch on stream, but they're really pretty out there. So, but anyway, I'll put up a thing tonight saying what I'm going to stream tomorrow, but thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Hopefully I'll see everybody at the Glenn Lawrence Ben Thorpe debate.